Well, I think it's fair to say it's been a very eventful week in Toronto in terms of the Canadian Football League and the team that plays there. But tonight, we're just going to play football on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Hi, everybody. Dave Randorf with you. Chris Schultz, Matt Dunnigan, Jock Climby, and it's doubleheader night on a Friday night. Later this evening, we're going to go out west and show you the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the Calgary Stampeders. We'll look forward to that one. But we begin in TO, the BC Lions in town to take on the Argonauts. In Toronto, all the talk has been about the new and unique ownership situation of the team. But when you look at this one, Schultz, you got two pretty good teams going at it here. The Lions are the hottest team in the league. A 4-game win streak, a streak that began against Toronto.
You know, David, it's kind of amazing. I mean, these two football teams are very similar when you look at the personnel, except in that one area, quarterback. Damon Allen going for his 60,000 accumulative yard total. Spurgeon Wynn, he's going for his first CFL start. Spurgeon is a drop-back quarterback. Get rid of it, 3, 5, 7 steps. Tonight, he's got to make some plays outside of the pocket. I'm not sure if he can get it done because this is an advantage for the Toronto Argonauts, Matt.
Yeah, Schultz, a lot of hype this week about Jenkins and Mitchell coming back to the Toronto lineup and Kidd and Dickinson leaving the BC lineup. And, of course, Damon Allen going for 60,000. My hat's off to you already, Damon. But I want to talk about the defense of the Toronto Argonauts. This football team has kind of caught a break. And, you know, the Argonauts need a break. Whether it comes defense, offense, upfield, they need a break. Defensively, they've gotten one. You take a look at the quarterbacks that they faced this football season, and they've gotten some pretty good breaks here. Look at Pete Gonzalez, Kerry Joseph, Federic Milanovic, and Spurgeon Wynn. 4 of the 7 games, including tonight, they have faced basically rookie quarterbacks. Hey, they performed. They lead the league in interceptions. They lead the league in fewest TDs allowed. You look at Steinhauer, you look at Ivory, you look at Smith. These guys are racking up some picks off some young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they're probably not complaining. They got another one tonight, are they, Matty?
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of the Toronto Argos, you know, any general manager around the league will tell you one of his toughest jobs is to find replacement for injured players. And Toronto's been without a couple of their most potent offensive players, but they found admirable replacements in Lyle Knight. He's been making plays all year. And the other guy they've picked up is James Hunden. This guy is in his 30s and is contributing as a young rookie. And so when you lose offensive threats, and you got a guy like Damon Allen who's a veteran, sometimes you have a tendency to let up on offense and say, well, we'll just wait for those guys to come back. The Argos haven't done that, and that's why they have won their last 2 football games.
Those two guys have been very capable replacements, but I'm sure they're glad to see Jenkins and Mitchell back tonight. Time to show you the starting quarterbacks. Brought to you by Wendy's, and here they are. The big story here is Damon Allen, 143 yards away from 60,000 passing yards in his amazing career.
It's August the 1st, and for some strange reason, the lid on Skydome is closed tonight. That could be part of the problem. Inside, it's time for the Argos to put a difficult week behind them and have a little fun on the turf at Skydome.
Hey, no matter what happens around it, it's always about the game, and we should have a good one tonight.
The Argos look for their 3rd straight win, and the Lions take a shot at making it 5 in a row.
Wally Buono's BC Lions got off to a bit of a slow start, but Wally Buono has the Lions on a roll now. They've won 4 straight. They're in a 3-way tie for first. They haven't lost since June 28th.
Mike Clemens has watched his team's financial situation crumble around him. His goal tonight, find a way to convince his players it is all about the game. And a milestone night for Damon Allen is ahead. Everyone has talked about his shot at 60,000 passing yards. It is really an amazing story.
When he gets it, be him, Dan Marino, and Warren Moon, the only 3 in professional football history to have thrown for 60,000 yards.
Lions kick it off to get the evening underway. Livingston, Bashir Livingston, has wonderful speed, and he's out near midfield. Stopped by the kicker, Curtis Head, after a 43-yard return. Damon Allen shoots for another milestone in his long and illustrious football career. 60,000 yards was like a trip to the stars when he and Dunnigan began back in Edmonton almost 20 years ago.
Couldn't believe that anyone had thrown for 50,000, let alone 60,000. Damon Allen, if he could stay on that field tonight, injury-free, will be in that elite group.
Wild Knight to the near side on first down. Toronto after a nice return. The Argos begin at midfield. And Mike Jenkins has his first carry. Back in the lineup after missing a couple of games, and he's the key to the running game. Also back is Daryl Mitchell, number 87. He missed 2. Wild Knight has done well in his place, so has Miles, and tough guys up front, St. John and Folk in the middle of that offensive line.
Well, 2 of the 3 big guns for Damon Allen in this offense are back. Michael Jenkins, Daryl Mitchell, you mentioned those 2. Alfred Jackson should be back in the lineup in 1 week.
Second down, empty backfield for Allen, eluding the first rush, at least briefly, and then he's dragged down as Ray Jacobs makes his presence felt as a member of the BC Lions.
Yeah, one more of the former Calgary Stampeders that have now joined Wally Buono with the BC Lions, and provides that balance to the defensive line with Herman Smith on one side, and then you get Ray Jacobs on the other. There he is, coming right off the edge, straight at you. Sandy Annunziata tries to scrape out there and can't get there in time.
First sack of the night recorded on the first sequence, and the Argos are back to kick inside the 30-yard line. Frank Cotolo deep for the BC Lions, standing near his 25. This guy has been a terrific story in British Columbia since the season began. Cotolo 4th in all-purpose yards with 1,053, and leading the Lions in that category.
Pretty nice punt return average up there around 10 at 8.2, and close to 20 in kickoff return average. He's a scrappy player, and he's provided some offense when Dave Dickinson has been playing. We won't see Dave tonight.
So Noel Prefontaine across his 30 to get this away. It's a beauty. Jason Cotolo back to the 12. Got 1 block, and that springs him for about 12 yards on the return. 52-yard punt. Dave Dickinson sitting this one out, as Glenn said. A kid named Spurgeon will run the offense. Spurgeon Wynn gets his first start. Simon and Claremont, along with Bellwell, will run and catch for the Lions. Kelvin Anderson will run the ball. And up front, Big Dan Payne has played in 200-plus games since graduating from Simon Fraser.
Chance to see Spurgeon Wynn start to finish if he stays healthy. Has a couple of starts under his belt in the National Football League. Most recently with Minnesota.
Kelvin Anderson for a couple, as the Lions came out with a double tight end formation there.
And talked to Wally Buono about Spurgeon Wynn, how he felt he'd play. Said he had a very good week of practice. Said that he's confident, but he said you never know when the lights come on what will happen and how a player will react. So we will see. And he feels that Spurgeon Wynn will have to be patient against this zone defense the Argos like to play.
2nd and 9. Wynn onto the cover, has Anderson, and Anderson is cut down. Orlando Steinauer, number 21.
Kelvin Anderson, after the play, was arguing that he never ever touched the ground.
He might have a point about not touching the ground, but he was definitely tackled.
Well, he was hit hard. Kelvin Anderson coming out of your backfield right there. Slips out. There again, Spurgeon Wynn being patient. He goes down and he lands on the back with his left hand and then ends up on his feet again with that left hand on the field. Your feet and your hand can touch. You can still run. He was right in the official's ear.
Bashir Livingston is deep for the Argonauts. Curtis Head standing back for BC near his 15 and across the 20 to get this one away. Good punt. Down to the 31, and Livingston has been super at times, needs 1 block here and gets it. Look at the wall form for Bashir Livingston, and he ran his blockers there and bumped into one. It was Lyle Knight, I think, who slowed him down, or he might have had a few more.
He was saying to Clifford Ivory, you're either in or in the way, buddy.
We are expecting Damon Allen to join a very exclusive club here at Sky Dome tonight. Only 2 quarterbacks have thrown for more than 60,000 yards, and Damon Allen begins this evening less than 150 yards behind Marino.
You look at that list of the 6, 4 played in the Canadian Football League.
Michael Jenkins back in the lineup, and that one off his fingertips.
BC defense gets Ray Jacobs in the lineup for the second straight game and provides that balance up front with Herman Smith on one side and Jacobs on the other. Carl Kidd out of the lineup. He has 2 broken hands. He'll be back next week. Here's your secondary. Mark Washington is the safety. And the law firm of Carter and Lewis play together on that left side.
Starting lineup brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn fast. This will be second down, Toronto. Allen has his first completion of the night. It's to Jenkins. And plenty for a first down as Jenkins crosses the 35.
Little dump pass to Michael Jenkins, trying to get him the football. He's going to sneak out of the backfield, come from the right side of your screen. There he is on the crossing pattern. All the Lions had dropped off. You see the depth of the linebackers. Ron Okami about 15 to 20 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Gain is 12, first down, Toronto. Allen with time and decides to take off for about 3, maybe 4 yards. Cameron Legault pinned him.
Well, we talk, of course, about Damon Allen's milestone and the one he's chasing tonight in passing yardage at 60,000, but you cannot forget what he does with his legs as well. And no quarterback in professional football has run for as many yards as Damon Allen.
Celebrated his 40th birthday in the past week on Tuesday, July 29th. Damon turned that magic number. Eluding the rush, and Ray Jacobs looks for a block and steps out safely.
Well, he was chased to that side by Jacobs again and just ran out of receivers more than anything. He had a couple of targets to the left side of the formation, but with Jacobs coming off the top of your screen, so he's got targets up here, but he doesn't have but one down on this side. And when that one is not open, because he's flushed that way, he has no choice but to eat the football.
So Ivan is in. Prefontaine will have it spotted at the 46. First scoring attempt of the evening.
The Argos, John, are a man short, and that's why Noel Prefontaine had to wait. And that's a lonely feeling when you're Mike Morreale and you just realize that the field goal team is on the field, you're on the field goal team, and you're not on the field.
So a long 35-yard
That is the longest 35-yard stroll you can make, because everybody in the building now knows who made the mistake.
Prefontaine good on 12 of 17, his longest 42 on the season. That's an average of 70.6%. Definitely within range, but he's got it just a little bit wide. Looked like he had it from a tough angle. Tolo takes it out as Prefontaine misses his first. John Wells and Glenn Suter upstairs at Sky Dome Club Vegas on the sidelines at the Argo bench. And here's Lisa Hillary at the Lions bench.
Well, John, we spoke with Dave Dickinson before the game. He had surgery on Tuesday, and now it was his non-throwing hand, but he did have pins inserted inside of his fingers. He's going to try and be ready for next week against Calgary, but still very doubtful. Of course, Dickinson now the eyes and the ears for Spurgeon Wynn on the sidelines tonight. Back to you.
First down for the Lions and nowhere to run as Kelvin Anderson is wrapped up by Cameron Legault. A couple of plays by Legault already tonight.
Now, Dave Dickinson was throwing the football in warm-up out of the shotgun and taking some snaps in that form. And I asked Wally as he was taking the snaps, I said, are you okay for next week? He said, everybody is telling me that he should be good for next week, but it is up to Dave Dickinson. He's got to get over the pain now, but they say with those pins in his finger, it's a ring finger of the non-throwing hand, the finger is actually stronger now than it was before it was broken.
Lions looking at that double tight end formation for Spurgeon Wynn again. G-Roy Simon with the reception. Antonio Bonner rolled him out of bounds.
In the meantime, Dave Dickinson will be very valuable for Spurgeon Wynn on that sideline and trying to help Spurgeon Wynn after every play, every series. What did you see will be the questions. What did you see down the field? What kind of defenses are they playing? How can we try and exploit it?
Close enough to measure this one on the game by Geroy Simon. It will be a first down. I'm thinking someone asked her to move just a little bit. She turned around and smiled, but we saw it anyway. So
Spurgeon Wynn looks like he had a little bit of trouble getting the signal from the sideline that time. And, you know, we saw Dave Dickinson signaling in. You'll see some of the coaches signaling in. And it just depends on who the hot guy is at the time. They don't want those signals being picked up by the opposition.
first down for the Lions at the 22. Spurgeon Wynn gets it out for Geroy Simon again. And Simon, with outstanding speed, turns the corner. And he's gone. Geroy Simon looked to be in the sights of a couple of Argonauts, and he takes it all the way for the touchdown.
Oh,
what acceleration. Leading the league in touchdowns, an 88-yarder there for Geroy Simon. And what jets he has.
His 8th, John, and he just outran the angles of the Toronto Argonauts. And talking about tackling angles, Michael Fletcher up in there tight. This ball is basically thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Now, Clifford Ivory got turned around, but you can see how Bonner had to turn the corner.
Yeah, but there were 4 Argos chasing.
Absolutely. Adrian Smith, he had a bad angle and couldn't get underneath. Geroy Simon just turned the jets on and outran all the angles of the defensive backs.
Convert is good, and it's not very often you see one guy outrun the entire secondary. That's what Geroy Simon did.
Cholesterol is a tough opponent because even if you're in top shape, you could have a cholesterol problem and be hit by heart disease. So if one of these criteria applies to you, or if you have 2 or more of these risk factors, speak to your doctor about being tested for high cholesterol. You want to know more? Call this number or visit this website. Play like a winner. Get tested. It could change your life.
Who will be today's player of the game? You make the call. Vote for the Rogers AT&T Player of the Game by text message or online at CFL.ca. Using your Rogers AT&T wireless phone, type the first letter of your player's city and his jersey number as your message. Then, send to Go CFL or vote online at CFL.ca. Vote for the Rogers AT&T Player of the Game during TSN's 4th quarter. There's great prizes to be won. Full details at CFL.ca.
Vancouver's Geroy Simon gets credit for an 88-yard touchdown run.
And it's a run because Geroy Simon, watch how he gains some depth and goes behind the line of scrimmage. I told you that ball was thrown as a lateral, so that's why it's classified as a touchdown run. Geroy Simon, you can see the great speed down the sideline, enough speed and enough distance to point at the Argo bench as he goes by and say, see ya.
88 yards and the touchdown gives the Lions a 7-0 lead. Let's see what Bashir Livingston can do with his return here. A couple of good ones already, and he's surrounded by Lions on special teams. Mark Washington making the tackle.
Geroy Simon adds another touchdown to the list, and now is number 1. Jermaine Copeland was behind him. They were tied coming in here. Both had 7 receiving. Now that's a run for Geroy Simon. It goes in as a running play. And Geroy Simon has thrown the football from that very same formation. When he goes back and gains ground like that, it becomes a lateral, so you can throw the double pass. And he has a touchdown pass to his credit already.
Geroy Simon slipped out of Winnipeg and signed in British Columbia as a free agent. David Allen looks to respond here on first down. What a toss. Morreale was the intended receiver, and they didn't quite hook up. Deshaun Chris was covering Morreale there, but the pass was overthrown.
Damon Allen is still not 100%. You see on his elbow pads there, he has Marcus Allen on the back of those pads, Hall of Fame. His brother goes into the Hall of Fame on Sunday. his hand is not completely 100%. Still having problems with grip. He's got a bone bruise, and there you see the writing on the back of his elbow strips. Marcus Allen, Hall of Fame.
2nd and 10. Allen lost his footing, and he's down. So the Argonauts 2 and up, and will kick it away.
Oh, Ray Jacobs is having a night already. I mean, we're about halfway through the first quarter, and Ray Jacobs has been dominant. And he once more will control this line of scrimmage. Number 53, straight up the field and just flat out runs by John Fugel in his rookie season, and Fugel didn't even get a chance to engage.
3rd sack by the Lions already. 6:54 still to go in the opening quarter.
This is the area where you think about giving up a safety, and the 2 points early on in the game. 2 points probably less important than the field position.
Well, there's no win factor, obviously, but the Lions are going to end up with outstanding field position. Although a pretty good kick by Prefontaine. Tolo stopped in his tracks, surrounded by Argos, and he lost yards on the return.
He did, but the offense is a first down away from 3 points now.
Welcome to Wendy's.
This isn't Wendy's.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
You just put tape over your name.
No, we didn't.
You did.
Well, order something.
Okay, give me a junior bacon cheeseburger made fresh right when I order it with 2 full strips of bacon for $1.39.
Oh, that does sound delicious.
They keep trying, but they just can't duplicate Wendy's super value menu. Not now, not ever.
Don't worry. I got a million ideas.
The $1.39 super value menu at Wendy's, it's better here. And remember, our pickup window's open late, so you can eat great, even late.
Back for the Lions, first down, beginning at the 50, and a little heat on the BC quarterback. Lyle Green was the intended receiver.
Well, John, the Lions want to go with play action here, but play action isn't going to fool many people if you go the wrong way, either as the quarterback or the running back, and I'm not sure who made the mistake. Look at Kelvin Anderson. He steps to the right. Spurgeon Wynn opens up to the left and goes to make that fake, and then there's no one there, and that's not really going to fool the defense if the running back's not even close to the football when you try the play action.
Can't fake with a ghost running.
No, that's not going to fool you. Adds some of the wrinkles now that Spurgeon Wynn has to work out early in this game.
5 receiver set for Spurgeon Wynn here. Noted as a drop back passer. That's Kelvin Anderson with the catch. Stopped short of a first down. You said they were a first down away from field goal range.
And I think they'll try a long one simply because with Curtis Head, they have a guy that can make a long kick. His longest so far in the season, 54 yards. And like I mentioned, in giving up the safety, you give up 2 points, but then a 2 and out for the Lions if they're inside their own 30. Now you're getting the football back in good field position. As it stands now, you're giving up a 3-point attempt, albeit a long one.
Curtis Head good on 83% of his field goal tries. So he's having an outstanding debut year, and unlike the try at the other end, this one sails through. So the Lions have both scores on the board at 10-0 with 5:15 to go till quarter time.
Curtis Head, one of the youngest players on the Lions roster, was born in 1981, and one of the guys that blocked for him up front is Big Dan Payne. Dan Payne, you mentioned, playing over 200 games, was born in 1966. Dan Payne was 15 years old basically when Curtis Head was born, and
he was already big, I'm betting.
And look at Curtis Head. He's also one of the smallest, if not the smallest, BC Lion, at about 170 pounds soaking wet. Dan Payne, the biggest. Dan Payne was 220 pounds at 15 years old. Curtis Head is about 170 right now.
Still working to catch up. That's Michael Jenkins on the first carry for the Argonauts. And let's go down to the Argonaut bench. Claude?
Well, guys, here's a man who's hauled in his fair share of Damon Allen yards over the years. Alfred Jackson of the Argos injured right now. I'm sure you'd like to be on the field. But can you just speak to his longevity? What makes Damon Allen so good?
Well, I just think the way he takes care of his body, you know, to play that long. Obviously, he's doing something in the off season, and he's doing it really well. So, you know, it's a blessing for me to play with Damon for the last 6 years, maybe 7th year this year, and I'm very happy for him.
And of course, you were the man who hauled in the pass that moved him into first place on the CFL's all-time list ahead of Ron Lancaster. Now he's set to join a group that includes Warren Moon and Dan Marino.
Yeah, I just think that's awesome. You know, to be mentioned in the same breath as Warren Moon and Dan Marino speaks volume of the way you've played, and he deserves it. Damon Allen, you know, he's had a great career. He's getting ready to go see his brother Marcus being inducted into the Hall of Fame tomorrow. So, you know, he deserves every bit of it.
All right, Alfred, we'll hopefully see you next week. Good luck. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Punting situation for the Argonauts now as Prefontaine stands at his 25. Cutolo is deep, back near the BC 27. Charge was on. Prefontaine gets it away. Cutolo surrounded and dropped by the first man down. Argos special teams have made a couple of tackles. No return at all after a 47-yard punt by Prefontaine. So the Argos get a little field position back.
Yeah, Michael Fletcher has to cover the teams, then go line up and play, starting in linebacking in that linebacking core, and one of the toughest, hardest hitters for a man his size in the entire Canadian Football League at 5'10", 200 pounds, but he explodes on impact, and a big member of that special teams unit as well. And that's tough to do when you have to cover a punt for 45 yards and then 20 seconds later start on defense.
Lions with a 10-0 lead begin at the 23, first down. Quinn has it out for Geroy Simon, looks to turn the corner again. This time he cuts it back in and comes decently close to a first down.
That's twice now that the BC Lions have had Geroy Simon back up behind the line of scrimmage to throw the football. Once he runs 88 yards for a touchdown, the other time he cuts back in and runs. And I believe they're trying to set up the pass, the double pass, where Geroy Simon's going to take that little swing pass, look like he's going to run, and then just let her go down the field to Ryan Thelwell, who's lined up on that side.
What more can you set up than the 88-yard touchdown? I mean,
but you've got to have the defense thinking about you running the ball after 88 yards. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and I know that he has an arm. Geroy Simon has completed passes in the league.
But, you know, because that he has thrown that pass before, you know the Argos have seen it on film. And when he does that now, they have to cautiously come up to tackle him because they don't want to leave their coverage responsibilities too quickly. And that may be one of the reasons that Geroy Simon had that angle to run 88 yards for a touchdown.
Well, the interesting thing about it, when you looked at it, it looked so simple turning the corner there with all the Argonauts chasing him. This will be enough for a BC first down.
Well, and it's almost too bad that the 88 yards went under a run category because of his pace as a receiver so far this season. I mean, he just got off to a great start to the year, and this is his projected numbers at this point. Receiving 105 catches, 1875 in the yardage category, close to CFL record. Daryl Mitchell, the other sideline, holds the record right now.
And coming into the game, 625 receiving yards. Spurgeon Wynn held on, and Thelwell makes the catch. Dropped from behind.
This is a type of thing that Ryan Thelwell will have to, or excuse me, Spurgeon Wynn and Ryan Thelwell will have to do in this game, and that's just be patient and throw the ball underneath, especially on first down, to move the sticks. And when the Argos like to play that zone defense, if you get greedy against it, that's when Orlando Steinauer, Adrian Smith, Clifford Ivory, boy, we've seen him make some big plays. That's when they step up and make their plays, when you get greedy against that zone.
Second and 4. Wynn goes from the shotgun and fires this one. It'll be enough for a first down as Geroy Simon makes the catch out near the 50.
And there's that zone, and Geroy Simon sitting down in it. He just, instead of running straight down the field and trying to get greedy on a play, Spurgeon Wynn waits for him. He's going to end up right in about that spot of the zone defense. Spurgeon Wynn makes a nice hard throw to beat the coverage from breaking on it. And that's right on the spot.
Wynn looks cool, doesn't he? Double tight end formation, 3 receivers to the near side, and Kelvin Anderson gets the call. Anderson averaging 6.3 yards per carry.
John, you know, over the last 4 games in the 4-game winning streak. A lot of talk, obviously, about the way Dave Dickinson has been playing and the numbers and yardage he's racking up. Of course, looking like Dave Dickinson of old when he was an MVP in the league. But the quiet guy in that offense and what's helping to make it tick is Kelvin Anderson. There's his numbers on the season. You mentioned that 6.0 average. Anytime you're only over 5, you're getting it done.
The Lions have started to roll since Anderson arrived. Wynn takes off. This is not what he's noted for, but he saw an opening. And Mike O'Shea ran him out of touch.
He's got big, strong frame. Spurgeon Wynn at about 230 pounds, and he's 6'3", so he's solid. Like you mentioned, he's not noted for taking off and running like a Nealon Green or anything like that, but he can move in the pocket by himself some time. And he's showing some good composure so far in this one.
This will be the last play of the quarter, barring a penalty, and Wynn has a target. Chris Brazel makes his first catch, and he's more than halfway to a first down across the 40. So far, it's been the BC Lions. 10 points on the board.
And Spurgeon Wynn getting a little of the help that Dave Dickinson has been getting all season long from a G-Roy Simon. His 8th touchdown of the season, already a single-season career high for him. Let's see how that happened.
Well, Spurgeon Wynn might as well just keep throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. He's only pushed the ball further than 10 yards down the field once this whole quarter, and why not against this Toronto defense? I mean, you remember week 1? When Grant goes all the way for a touchdown to beat the Argos because of poor pursuit angles? Now let's have a look what happens in the first quarter. This should never happen. This ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage. You've got about 5 Toronto Argos, 6 Toronto Argos who have a shot at this guy and let him go. This is one of those situations where Coach Pinball Clemens might want to have all his guys out there doing pursuit angles like you used to do back in Pee Wee football.
I remember those days, old Pee Wee football days. You know, the only thing that I can see with the Toronto Argonauts is Bashir Livingston. Other than that, the entire team is not playing as well as I thought they would, considering all the adversity they've been through. I thought they would be more focused and executing much better, but Livingston does a great job of giving them opportunities with a short field. When you talk about Stokes, McGarity, October, and also Livingston, he's turning out to be one of the best punt returners in this league. He has deceptive speed, and he may have to win this football game because after this first quarter, that's the whole offense.
Yeah, he's been giving him great field position. The BC Lions defense has been making Damon Allen look like a youngster out there. He's been harassed the entire first quarter. A lot of 2-and-outs here. A lot of pressure being applied by that front four. And welcome back Ray Jacobs to the Canadian Football League. I know that Coach Barato is doing an excellent job with his young quarterback as well, Dave. And Spurgeon Wynn, he's high percentage throws. Everything's coming back to him. Nothing's going away from him, and if it is, it's behind the line of scrimmage. We've seen screens, we've seen swings, we've seen laterals, and we saw one hook pattern. They're getting him some confidence, and looks like it's going to be a great game.
And with Ray Jacobs, that's a good situation, right? Because obviously they're set up all right in Saskatchewan. They don't really miss him, and Ray gets a new life out on the West Coast with his old buddy Wally Buono. Back to John and Glenn.
Nice beginning for Jacobs in this one tonight. He does get credit for 3 sacks so far this evening. So that's 3 in the opening quarter.
It's a heck of a start for Ray Jacobs and has been in the backfield all game long on Damon Allen. And the other side, Spurgeon Wynn moving the ball nicely, showing great composure. So Allen's been on the run. Spurgeon Wynn has been able to sit in that pocket and, like the guys mentioned, just dump it off on those short, high percentage passes.
Second and short for the Lions. And this will be plenty. Kelvin Anderson found a nice hole and settled in for a gain of 4 yards and an easy first down for the Lions. Numbers favor BC on the scoreboard as well as on the stat sheet.
Yeah, and when you look at the right side, I'm going to put another number in there, 53. That's the number that Ray Jacobs wears, and the reason that those Argos numbers aren't very impressive.
Well, yes, he has the 3 sacks, and he also forced Damon out of bounds at one point, so the Argonauts offense has not been able to get on track. Spurgeon Wynn has Anderson sliding out of the backfield. He calls for a block, and he'll have another first down.
See, football can often be simplified in that it's just a numbers game. If a linebacker comes on the blitz, then the running back, who's usually picking up the linebacker, is going to be the open receiver if he's released. And Antonius Bonner is the linebacker in this situation. He's going to come right from this side of your screen right here. And then if you either block him or release past him. If you release past him, it's a numbers game. I get the ball out of there. There's the open receiver. It's the running back, Calvin Anderson.
Calvin Anderson, another 15 yards, 7 times over 1,000 as a member of the Calgary Stampeders. First down, and Spurgeon Wynn is on the money. Simon was almost free into the end zone, caught by the bootstraps by Ken Wheaton.
Yeah, that's what you call those shoestring tackles. That's, you know, you've heard that before, the shoestring tackle that saved a touchdown, and that's what Kenny Wheaton did right there on that curl pattern, because Simon caught the ball and in the same motion had turned the corner, and it was just a shoestring tackle that saved 6 points.
Lions look sharp, looking after business and looking for victory number 5 in succession. Spurgeon Wynn with the toss. That one was tipped up.
And, you know, two things right here. It's Spurgeon Wynn has looked very composed and moved the football. And the Argonaut defense looked like they're not playing with a whole lot of intensity. And you could easily say a lot of things this week that have gone on. It could be affecting that. But they sort of walk around to the huddle, walking back and forth in and out of the huddle. And if you don't match the intensity of the opponent, it can get ugly in a hurry.
So the Lions will settle for a field goal drive from Curtis Head, who hit on a long one earlier and sails this one right through the end zone. Curtis Head is 2 for 2, and the BC Lions are all over the Argonauts so far at Skydome. Skydome has never been a wonderful place for football, and not that great for baseball these days either. Billed as the 9th wonder of the world. No one wants to come to this building anymore, and that's one of the reasons that the Argos have gone through the tough week that they have.
Yeah, and it looks like it has affected them a little bit early on in this game. And, you know, sports is an interesting scenario, an interesting issue in this city. You mentioned the Blue Jays are now drawing just over 22,000 for games in this building. Certainly that is one thing that needs to change the Argos to move forward. But, you know, my question is, and when you look at that and the situation that's happened this week, is not necessarily with the sports fan that ranges from, you know, 25 to 35, 40 years old. My question is, if the worst case scenario happens, the Blue Jays reportedly losing $46 million a year, the Argos in the situation they're in, who knows how long the Raptors will stay in this city if Vince Carter ever leaves. You go on and on. My question is, not with the 25 to 35-year-old ticket buyers at this point, but the kids. If you're taking your kids to a game, where are you going to take them to?
Well, looking down the road, it looks a little grim right now, but maybe on the horizon there's brighter days ahead for these Argonauts. Damon Allen. And that's not a bad start in this football game to get the Argonauts warmed up. Tony Miles stopped by Shadrick Chris. And Miles has had a pretty nice season.
Well, yeah, 459 yards, 2 touchdowns coming into this game. This is a nice catch because he has to fight Chad Chris to come up for it. And that's trust in your quarterback. And they have built a rapport, Damon Allen and Tony Miles, throughout the season. And he trusts that Tony Miles will win that battle.
Leading the Argonaut receivers so far, Randy Bowles gets the call there on first down right after a 22-yard gain by Miles.
Damon Allen continues to climb up that list. 104 passing yards now to reach 60,000 in his career. Join Dan Marino and Warren Moon.
Argonauts inside the 45 now, set up at the 42. Allen won't have time to get this one away, or will he? Somehow he escaped, and it looked like he was absolutely wrapped up. He'll run for the first down himself. Allen, he's 40 years old, folks, and he's sliding at the 15-yard line. An amazing athletic feat when you look at what Damon Allen is able to accomplish on the football field.
And I mentioned his running ability. We talk about all leading into this one, his passing milestone of 60,000 yards. But folks, he's done this better than any quarterback in football. He has more yardage than any quarterback in football running, and I don't know how he got out of this trouble.
Would you agree he was wrapped up right there?
A couple times. Ray Jacob was looking for his fourth sack. He ducked Jacobs and doesn't run out of bounds. Realizes that extra 15 yards may be the difference in getting his team some momentum and back in it. He competes as well as any quarterback that's ever played this game, and that's a little sign of it right there.
26-yard gain for Damon Allen. And with an injury, timeouts here at Skydome. A quick timeouts on Wendy's CFL Live. Wendy's Friday Night Football from Skydome in Toronto. And the second half of the doubleheader comes your way at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. The Red Hot Rough Riders against the Stampeders at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. So lots more ahead on Wendy's Friday night. Here the Argos set up with their deepest penetration of the evening. Damon Allen with a hot hand all of a sudden. Looks to the end zone, puts it up, and it's way deep. Daryl Mitchell was the closest Argonaut receiver, and Damon Allen figures he should have had him.
Well, yeah, and he wanted Daryl Mitchell on the hook and go, and Daryl Mitchell stayed on the hook. Was basically what happened. He pump faked to Mitchell, who just sort of stood there and slid closer to the goalpost, and he thought Mitchell was going to turn and run, go to the back of the end zone, and he didn't do it.
It'll be 2nd and 10, Toronto. Lions scored 10 points in the opening quarter. 3 more here in the second. Allen looks at a 2nd and long situation, looks to the end zone, looks to Mitchell, and Allen is down. Flag in the end zone.
Hit by Barron Simpson and Ray Jacobs. Daryl Mitchell was drawing double coverage in the end zone and was getting roughed up a little bit.
Illegal contact, BC 39. First down.
That'll set up the first down and keep this drive alive for Toronto.
Tony Walker's the extra defensive back, and he was over top of Daryl Mitchell with Eric Carter underneath, and he did a little pushing and shoving, and it was before the ball was released. That's why it was illegal contact and not pass interference, because as it turned out, the ball wasn't catchable. So the pass interference would not have been called, but the illegal contact happened earlier.
Argonauts looking first and goal to go from the BC 8. Allen is down, and another flag is in the air.
Looked like Cameron Legault and Ray Jacobs had a race to the quarterback. I'm not sure who will get credit.
4th sack of the game, no matter how you look at it, for the BC Lions.
Looked like Cameron Legault got there first, wrapped up Damon Allen around the ankles.
Holding. Toronto 59. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Bernard Williams, he gets called. Take a look in the Cameron Legault, number 95 at the top of your screen. He's working on Folk. He goes down with him, and there how he grabs the left leg of Damon Allen.
So now it's 2nd and 17. 2nd and goal to go from there. Allen, the end zone in his sights. Mitchell can't turn the corner and get there, and he'll come up well short.
Well, you know, Eric Carter is going to give Daryl Mitchell a little bit of room and let him do this, and he's just going to play off him. He's going to run to Walker. Walker's going to drop him off right here, just in the trail position, and here comes Carter from his man to make sure he can't turn the corner and get in the end zone. Tackle in the open field, and he had some help from Tony Walker.
Eric Carter, an All-Canadian again last year. And so the Argos settle for a field goal attempt. Noel Prefontaine's first crack came up a little short, but this a little chip shot from about 13 yards away. So the Argos are on the board, and that was the most impressive Toronto march so far tonight. Damon Allen, a big part of that penetration by the Argonauts there with a 22-yard scamper. A little better feeling from the offense. As the Argos get set for the kickoff.
He's looking at you. I know. That's why Juke, you guys gotta run in. Yeah. Juke. You see Juke and they both playing all there. You gotta come in. When you look like a cover 4, you have to run in. Maybe better run a 49.
The veteran executing from the field and the sideline as Damon Allen schools up his receivers at the bench.
Explaining what he needs the next time they get that close. Frank Cotillo returning for the Lions. And Chris Hardy rode him to the turf. Kelvin Anderson feeling very much at home as a member of the BC Lions these days. 1,074 yards as a Stampeder last year. 376 yards already this time.
Still a little bit strange to see Kelvin Anderson in a BC Lion uniform, but tell you what, the fans in BC like to see him in the uniform when he rips off a 52-yarder like that.
Nothing has changed in the running style, has it?
Well, it really hasn't, and it's been a big difference in this winning streak for BC.
Lions begin 1st and 10, 3 receivers to the near side.
Yeah, Kel.
And Kelvin Anderson got the call. Anderson out to about the 45, so he's better than halfway to a first down. Antonio Bonner making the tackle there.
Tell you the difference. 4 wins, the 4 wins they've just had in a row, their running game, 133 yards rushing per game on average. The 2 losses to start the season, it was 68.5 yards per game rushing. Kelvin Anderson started to feel comfortable with this offense, and the offense comfortable with Kelvin Anderson.
3 receivers to the far side of the field on first down and about a yard, or second down and about a yard to go.
You know, and it's a confidence factor between the offensive line, and they always strive, if you're an offense, to find that balance in your running game and your passing game. And in the first 2 games of the season, they were averaging 12 carries per game, and that's calling from the sideline the offense. In those 4 wins, they doubled that. So once they got comfortable with Calvin Anderson, he got comfortable with his offensive line and the play calling of Dave Dickinson again. Wally Buono said, hey, we start running the ball like that, let's call it a lot more. So they double the production running the football. They more than double it in yardage, and they win 4 in a row. Pretty simple math.
And I think when you look at a rookie at quarterback, the veteran at running back is a huge help, isn't he? 3rd down, inches to go as the Lions didn't get there the first time. Penalty markers are down near the 50.
You know, and the other thing about Kelvin Anderson, and I've said this before, but
offside, Toronto 97.
Is his durability. I mean, Michael Jenkins on the other bench is another star running back, but the Argos haven't had his services for a few games. And Kelvin Anderson, every practice, every single meeting, every single game, he is out there. And he has done it every single year.
Well, every single season over 1,000 yards, which is really a mark of a great running back. On first down, Anderson gets the call, and the Argonauts were waiting.
Well, John, it really is, because it's a mark of a great running back and a mark of a great football player in general, because coaches are always trying to find something that is consistent, something that they can hang their hat on, that they can rely on, because of the game. There's so many ups and downs, highs and lows in the game of football from start to finish. If you have one thing that you know, hey, we give the ball to Kelvin Anderson, he's going to be productive for us. That's the one thing they know is going to happen.
That time Wayne Weathers, 99, was waiting. And this will be second down and 9. Spurgeon win has Cotillo, and he'll be short of the first down as he slips at the 50.
Now, Cotillo's going to be a little bit short here, but I just want to finish with what Kelvin Anderson brings, and Kelvin Anderson will also bring this for you. Now watch Kelvin Anderson right here. The only reason Spurgeon Wynn has a chance to make this throw is he steps to the left of your screen and puts a real nice block on the linebacker coming on the blitz and stops him in his tracks. Or that play doesn't even have a chance.
So the Argo defense holds. Curtis Head is in. Livingston is deep. Number 23 for the Argonauts, standing at his 10. Curtis Head has had a good night, couple of field goals, and he'll angle this one to the sideline. There'll be no play for Livingston. But on the angle, field position improves a little bit for the Toronto Argonauts, trailing 13-3 on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Damon Allen closing in on another incredible milestone in his wonderful CFL career. It's something that even the star quarterback has a hard time believing.
I think I do kind of pinch myself because I can always refer back to, when I first came in the league, and I remember me and Matt Dunnigan were just talking, and we were looking at the passing leaders, and the name of Lancaster was up there, and 50,000 yards, and we couldn't have fathomed, that or envision. That's a lot of yards, and you have to play for a long time because you played 19 years. But I never would have thought that I'd be able to accomplish that because I only wanted to play 10 years, and now, 9 years after that, it's amazing. It's been a wonderful ride. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Tough to quit after 10 years or 11 years.
And I asked him about it again today before the game and just what it would mean to him when he does break the record. And he said, it's hard to put in perspective right now, and it is so many yards, and I've been around and seen so much, but he said, and I still want to play for a while. He said, if this was my last game in pro sports, then maybe I'd think more about it. But
picked off on 2nd and 10. Allen put it right in the midst of Brent Johnson. And there have been a few of those along the way, too. You don't get to 60,000 plus.
Yeah, you don't.
Without a few interceptions.
Well, without question. And he got caught in a different formation, the BC Lions. Brent Johnson's going to drop off. Brent Johnson lines up as a defensive lineman right at the left of your screen, and then he drops out there, and you can see Damon Allen doesn't account for him because he was in a stance on the line before the play started. But Brent Johnson, as a defensive lineman, made a pretty good catch across the middle.
Nice hands right in the center of things there in his 3rd year out of Ohio State. So the Lions get another chance to hit the Argonaut end zone here. Spurgeon Wynn, the rookie at the controls. Kelvin Anderson, the veteran, running the ball.
But John, you're absolutely right. You don't play for 19 seasons and throw for 60,000 yards and not throw a couple of interceptions along the way. Just ask the guy you mentioned in the clip, Ron Lancaster. He threw a few in his time, too.
Well, Lancaster still has the record for ICs.
If you haven't made a mistake on the field, then you haven't been playing. Simple as that.
Another 4 for Kelvin Anderson. This will be 2nd and 6. Shotgun for Spurgeon Wynn over the middle. Oh, dropsy. Roy Simon hasn't dropped very many this season when you look at what he's accomplished and what he's done even here tonight. That one just through his fingertips.
Yeah, and he really hasn't. And that last time the Lions were down in this end of the field, and Simon caught a little curl pattern and turned in a heartbeat, and there was that shoestring tackle that saved the touchdown, and that was made by Kenny Wheaton. Remember that one? That one, I think he was trying to turn quickly and did just a split second before the ball arrived.
Another field goal. Curtis Head, so he's having a night again. Curtis Head is a perfect evening going. It's 16-3 BC. Time to rally the troops and get this Argonaut ship sailing again.
Well, much like the game we watched last night in Ottawa, this could be a much different score. Damon Allen really has had one drive, much like the Edmonton Eskimos start last night, but they came back, and the defense for Toronto also started sluggish, but now they're closing the door in the red zone when they're backed up against their goalposts. So still in striking distance for a quarterback who's come back and won some games from behind a few times in his career.
Bashir Livingston from the 10, quickly to the 25. Got in midair, mid-stride at about the 40 and dropped there. Kelly Lockbaum making the tackle. Michael Jenkins back in the lineup for the Argonauts. He was sorely missed in several ways, but the Argonauts somehow or other found a way to win games with him out of the lineup.
Well, yeah, especially when you think back to his 2001 season with close to 1,500 yards and 5 touchdowns, an Argo record. And he did it in 16 games. And that's kind of balance they're looking for. Damon Allen coming into this one is the Argos' leading rusher.
That's happened with Allen on other teams. Randy Bowles dropped a pass a few moments ago, hangs on to the handoff there and has about 4.
Yeah, it has happened with Allen, but it probably shouldn't if you have Michael Jenkins, even with Damon Allen. If you have a back the quality of Michael Jenkins, then he's got to be leading the way. But he's had some injury problems. Actually had injury problems in training camp, and he tried to start the season and he played hurt.
Yeah, he tried to play through it and it didn't work at all.
It didn't work out. It started to worsen, so they finally just pulled him out.
2nd and 5, Argonauts. Allen shotgun. Finds a target. That'll be a first down. Miles makes the catch. Tony Miles.
You know, and when you talk about that milestone of 60,000 yards, Damon Allen, you know, the receivers are also hearing about it all week long, and you know, they would love to be like Alfred Jackson, who we heard from earlier, be the answer to that trivia question. You know, when Damon Allen broke the 60,000 mark barrier, who was the receiver he threw it to?
Well, we know Alfred Jackson was the one receiver who was the target for the previous important milestone. And there's another interception. That's number 243 in Damon Allen's career. Baron Simpson has it this time. So back-to-back drives end on interceptions. Go.
Yeah, a lot of traffic where Damon Allen was trying to thread that football too, and Baron Simpson right behind the goalpost right there is going to take his drop in the pass coverage. Allen rolls the opposite way, and then Baron Simpson will just flow with them. And there's the intended receiver, Tony Miles, who kind of put the brakes on, and Simpson just flew across and stole that one. You see Simpson with great mobility. Look at 51 fly over there.
Nice catch.
And lay out for it. We've seen 2 good catches, one from a middle linebacker, one from a defensive lineman, and Brent Johnson. Maybe they want to be part of a trivia question.
Okay.
Back-to-back interceptions. The Lions are back on the field offensively. Here's Kelvin Anderson fired up again. And most of the way to a first down. He's a couple of yards shy. Ken Wheaton making the tackle on Kelvin Anderson there. 3 minutes till the half. This Argonaut franchise was founded in 1873. The cheerleaders came on several years after that. Ready at the half. The boys will fire it your way. Looking back in the history of this franchise, the Yankees were founded in 1903. The modern Olympics in 1896.
Well, yeah, you talked about 1873, and it was 47 years later that the NFL was formed. 47 years after the first Argonaut football game here. 38 Argonauts are in the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame, and this franchise has won more Grey Cups than any team in CFL history.
So that makes it a little more sad when you think about what has transpired in the past 7 days in particular.
And you know what it is, John? It makes it worth saving. That's what it is. It makes it worth straightening out. And the CFL has seen crisis before and got through them, and they will get through this one as well.
Tell me about them.
It's a long list, and let's move on.
It is a long list.
But they will get through them.
2:37 till halftime. The Argonauts battling back against a spirited BC Lion team tonight, led by not their #1 quarterback and leading passer in the league, Dave Dickinson, but by a young man by the name of Spurgeon Wynn, who has looked comfortable out there, and Glennie's looked cool as well.
Yeah, he has, and you know what? Maybe probably his best attribute is his patience so far in this game, because he has taken what the Argonauts defense has given him. He's used Kelvin Anderson effectively, been very patient, not tried to force him. That's why these numbers look pretty good, and this one over there not real high.
That's 75%. And he has the lead at 16-3. Good pass far side. Felwell brings it in and spins. He'll be pretty close to a first down, depending on the spot.
That might sound simple to do, what I just said about being patient as a quarterback, and Matt Dunnigan can probably talk to you about this. You get out there and you've got a matchup. You've got Geroy Simon. You've got some great targets. It's got to be, and I know it's tempting for them, to want to throw the ball up over top.
Go for the home run.
Yeah, the big 70-yard touchdown pass that makes the papers. It is very tough to stay disciplined and dump the ball and use your running game.
Another second and short, converted by the Lions, slipping in across the 50 of the Argonauts. So the defense of Toronto due to come up with a play here with 2 minutes to go till halftime.
Well, they're a big play defense in Toronto. They're a defense that they want to drop off and make the interception. It's a defense that wants to force you into a mistake by they'll drop off into that zone, and then if you try and go deep on that zone, they'll come up with an interception. Have 13 on the season.
Tell me about interceptions. 4 for Steinauer, 4 for Adrian Smith. A couple of fumbles for touchdowns and a couple of interceptions for touchdowns for Clifford Ivory too. So these guys, as you say, are big play defenders. Mark Nora there.
But it's tough to make those kind of plays from a secondary point of view. If the ball is being thrown 4 or 5 yards, it's right there in the receiver's hands. Now all you can do is react and make a tackle, and that's when it starts to get frustrating, especially when you're a big play group like Adrian Smith and Clifford Ivory, like you mentioned, and guys who like to get their hands on the football and run the opposite way with it.
2nd and 5, Lions at the Argonaut 45. Wynn looks to take off. He's run a couple of times now, and this is a huge hole opening up for the rookie quarterback. Not noted as a runner, but he must have seen it because there was a wide space right up the middle.
He showed tremendous speed. He accelerates right through the line of scrimmage. It was a nice burst from Spurgeon Wynn. You can see a good look at it right here. He sort of watches the seas part in the middle, and then he takes off, and there's that little spurt right there, and he outruns the angle of Kenny Wheaton, and now is back into the secondary and is tackled by Michael Fletcher.
This could hurt the Argonauts greatly. It's a 31-yard gain, setting the Lions up inside the 15. Wynn has trouble with the snap. It's on the ground. He got it away for Kelvin Anderson, the safety of Al Anderson, away from one, but not the third Argonaut tackler there, ducking underneath Marvin Thomas, but Wayne Weathers wrapped him up.
Well, Antonius Bonner bought some time for himself and wanted his friends to come and help him out, because one-on-one on Kelvin Anderson is always tough. Good running backs like Kelvin Anderson make the first guy miss. Bonner just bought some time out there. He knew his buddies would be by soon.
35 seconds until halftime. 2nd down for the Lions. 2nd and 9, actually. Flags are down.
I'm not sure if Ben Fairbrother, if he drew that Argo D-line offside. The only reason I say that is because you can always tell the guilty party. And it's tough sometimes to see on television, depending on what we're showing you. But from up here, you can tell the guilty party, because after that happens, one guy will stand up and put his hands right over his eyes and shake his head. And that's what Ben Fairbrother did.
Illegal procedure. BC 13. 2nd down repeated.
Well, Fairbrother never got caught, at least not by
well, Spurgeon
the head
Wynn,
referee.
Yeah, they said Spurgeon Wynn jumped up, and that's what made Ben Fairbrother move. How valuable do you think that conversation is for Spurgeon Wynn right now? Just look at the experience that you're looking at right there. Wynn comes over the sideline, looks to his right, sees Wally Buono. A little bit of track record there. Steve Barato, and then Dave Dickinson.
What a game Dickinson played against Ottawa a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't that masterful?
Wow, my goodness. 6 touchdown passes.
And he was gone in about 2.5 quarters.
509 yards. Yeah, he was well on his way. If that game was a little closer, he's breaking records that night.
2nd and 14 for the Lions. 23 seconds on the clock till halftime. Spurgeon Wynn looks to the end zone. Out the fingertips. Cotolo was the target, and Adrian Smith makes the play.
Well, he played it well because he had a couple of problems. He had one in the seam and he had one deep. Look at Adrian Smith out here. Now he's going to end up with one receiver here and one inside. It's going to put him in a bind, but he plays the quarterback and reads his eyes. You see the deep man at the top of your screen up here. Now he just reads the eyes, ball's in the air, and then you break on the football and to catch it at its high point, knock it down. The Argo defense has given up some yardage in the middle of the field, but down around this own end of theirs, they tighten up.
So the Lions settle for another field goal, and Curtis Head has been perfect so far tonight. Still is. He's 4 for 4 with 13 seconds till the half. So what do the Argos do to come out in the second half? I mean, not a bad stand there for the defense.
Well,
considering
it's always on that guy's shoulders right there to start to get things going, and saw him use his legs and take the game in control. That's what Damon Allen does when things start to become difficult. He will start to run more, and at 40 years old, he'd like to pick his times, but I guarantee you when his football team is behind, he'll take off. Michael Jenkins will be a factor, and Daryl Mitchell has also got to start getting involved in the offense.
I'd say Mike Clemens is going to have to be a factor here too, somewhere in the dressing room to get his team refocused a little bit. I'm not so sure if it was all of what was said this week in Toronto about the franchise and what has happened, but the Argonauts were a little lethargic to begin with.
Well, Daryl Mitchell just has 2 catches for 16 yards, and you know he is trying to get back off that injury, so he's going to take about a half of football to get back in that game mode again and see if he can get on the same page with Damon Allen. But if they could get things going, then the Argos can come back in a hurry.
Bashir Livingston, one of the deep backs. This time it's Hunden, and 6 seconds will remain for the Argonaut offense, and Damon Allen not much time to do anything with from this area of the field.
Well, yeah, at this point in the field, John, you just basically get out of this half, go down and get on the chalkboard and start talking about things that you may have seen in that first half. Damon Allen will talk to his receivers like we saw him do on the bench in between series, and it's give and take usually in the locker room. What do you see when you go down the field? I'll tell you what I'm seeing.
The final snap taken by Michael Bishop. And there's another sack. That's 5 for the Lions in the first half.
John, Michael Bishop can throw the ball about 100 yards, and that's what they were trying to do. Put him in for one play and try a Hail Mary, but he never got a chance to get it out of there.
5 sacks by this BC Lion defense. The Argos head to their room to regroup.
So these BC Lions come strutting into the Big Smoke with a 4-game win streak. They got no Dave Dickinson in the lineup. Carl Kidd's out as well, and they're not missing a beat. That defense is stepping up and causing big problems. 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, both of them beauties, great catches. And, Jock, you're going to highlight the one from the Canadian kid who's probably got a lot of friends and family in the stands at Skydome tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. Brent from Kingston, 2.5 hours down the 401. A guy who won the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl with the Ohio State Buckeyes. He's playing right defensive end for the BC Lions, and he gets a rare opportunity to drop back in coverage. And here he is here. You're going to see him drop back into coverage, and his boy Herman Smith, who's right lined up beside him, he's going to take his responsibility on the contain. We're going to watch this play unfold. Now, this is unusual because Damon Allen is not thinking that a defensive lineman is going to drop back in coverage. And Johnson does a good job using his hands and getting down the field after. But for a quarterback, when you take a look at the defense, you identify the halfbacks and the linebackers. You are not counting a defensive end in your coverage schemes.
Do you think Damon Allen's seen that in 19 years?
Yeah, he's probably seen it a couple times, but he looked like he'd never seen it before on that play.
Yeah, it's good defensive play. We saw Simpson pick one off to an athletic play, and they're flying around defensively. We heard Glenn Suter talk about Damon Allen on his scramble run there in the second quarter, and that's what separates, I think, Damon Allen from the group of guys he's fixing to join in Moon and Marino. They're pocket passers. You know, Moon scrambled early in his career, but this is Damon Allen, his 19th career. He's got 10,686 yards rushing. To me, that's what separates this talent from those other two fellows we mentioned, Moon and Marino. Damon Allen is simply, he's a freak of nature. I mean, the guy runs around like a 20-year-old. He's 200 yards away from Johnny Bright being third all-time in the CFL.
Don't you wish you had his genetics?
Yeah,
different genetics.
I think everybody does.
And you do, and definitely different genetics than I do. But also, Spurgeon Wynn has had a great first half of football. 11 for 15, 83 yards. He's really good out of the shotgun. Not all quarterbacks are really good out of the shotgun. His football is hard. It spends very little time in the air. It's accurate. He's calm. I guarantee you right now there's a few GMs in the Canadian Football League that are going through their manuals. How long is this kid under contract? Because he is a quarterback that can play, Dave.
And while he's been standing around watching Dave Dickinson operate, he's learned one thing. If I just get it to 81, he'll take it and likely do the rest, which is what he did here. Geroy Simon takes it behind the line of scrimmage and gallops 88 yards for the game's only touchdown. Don't forget, we got a double header for you tonight, and here is part two. That guy's not going to be playing tonight. Alondra Johnson's going to be watching his Stampeder teammates host the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and for more from McMahon Stadium, here is Rod Black.
Thank you, Dave. The breeze is kicking up, but it's going to be a hot night here in Calgary, a hot day, and the hot topic right now, concern over the quarterbacking situation with the injury, of course, to Marcus Crandall. This is a city that has been a quarterbacking factory over the last decade or so. Danny Barrett, current coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, may have started it all. Doug Flutie, his backup. Flutie, then Jeff Garcia, who's in the NFL starring now. Garcia to Dave Dickinson, who's with BC. He had Henry Burris with him, who went to the NFL, now is with Saskatchewan. Follow the bouncing quarterback, but the injury to Crandall has certainly not made it easy for Jim Barker and the Stampeders. They're hurt at the quarterbacking spot.
Boy, it's a lot different than it was a few years ago, Rod. Tonight they're going to start Scott Milanovich, the third starting quarterback. This is just week 7 of this CFL season. Now, he's got great size. He's 6'1", 220. He's got a strong arm, and his head coach, Jim Barker, assures me that he can even read some defenses, too. Those are his numbers from a week ago against Toronto. I don't think they're indicative of how well he can play. He came in late in the game. He was trying to win it. He forced some balls that he probably won't do tonight, but he does have credibility. He was at the University of Maryland, and all he did in his 4 years there were break every record that NFL superstar Boomer Esiason set when he was there. He threw for over 7,300 yards, and he threw 49 touchdowns as well. That's pretty incredible when you think about he did that in 4 seasons. So, can he be the savior here in Calgary tonight? He's only had 2 weeks to get ready. He's got some potential, but he's up against the #1 defense in the league in Saskatchewan. It's going to be tough.
And a team that's loaded at quarterback right now, but a team that has not won here since 1989. It's an interesting story, the tale of the quarterbacks tonight at McMahon Stadium. Guys?
Well, a tale of this quarterback, Damon Allen, as he's been doing more with his feet than with his arm tonight, but there's a whole half to go. Don't go anywhere.
Ready for the second half at Wendy's Friday Night Football from Skydome in Toronto. Damon Allen shooting for 60,000 passing yards, and it was a tough first half for him in several ways, Glenn.
Well, he was on the dead run. Ray Jacobs had a great start for the BC Lions, and he was hunting Damon Allen in that first half. Allen had to try and get out of a lot of trouble. He did complete a couple of balls, one to Daryl Mitchell, but he had BC Lion defensive lineman in his face the entire time.
Little Damon magic here. Somehow he escapes. So the Argonauts have a ways to come back, and Damon Allen will have to lead them. Let's bring in Claude.
With Argos head coach Clemens Pinner, needless to say, a very emotional week for this franchise. How much did that impact this first half?
Well, I think the big thing is we didn't take advantage of opportunities. We had 2 great returns. We were past midfield on our first 2 possessions. We got no points out of it. On contrary to that, they threw a screen pass and got an 80-yard touchdown or so off of a screen pass, off an innocent pass they took. So they made the plays. We had good field position, and we didn't take advantage. Then after that, we've made a couple of mistakes. We've had a couple of turnovers that have given them another 6 points. So that's 13 of their points from 2 plays and us not capitalizing on the field position we had early. We got to be disciplined, make sure we don't turn the football over. Defense or special teams needs to give us a touchdown in this half for it to give us a chance.
Guys looked a little flat at the half. on the bench, was that the message, just to come back and do what you just said?
The message is special teams and defense, we need a touchdown up. The way you come back in games isn't offense, it's defense. If you don't let them score, you keep bringing the margin in. So we got to play great defense, we got to shut them down defensively, and we need a score on special teams or defense.
Okay, Pinball, thanks. Good luck.
Listening to that, the Argonauts have to start right now.
Well, yeah, and they'll start on defense because they had to kick off. So they'll see if the message from head coach Mike Clemens was heard by that defense. And, you know, when you have Bashir Livingston on your team, you can score on special teams. That's always a possibility.
Well, and some ball hawks in the secondary of the Argonauts, too. Lyle Green on first down for the BC Lions.
And that may be the key for that defense, to allow their ball hawks to get involved in the game, is what they do on first down. If they can start to limit the BC Lions on first down to maybe 1, maybe 2 yards on first down, and get some good play from that linebacking core, and Michael Fletcher, Michael O'Shea, Antonius Bonner, have them come up hard, then you have a chance on 2nd and long to allow Clifford Ivory to make some of those plays that he's done this year.
2nd and 7 for the Lions. Spurgeon win from the shotgun. Behind the intended target. And so Simon can't bring that one in. And this is the start that the Argo defense was looking for. 2 and out for the Lions, and a chance here on a return.
Well, Pinball Clemens' message heard in the first series by the defense. They get their 2 and out.
James Hunden drops deep for the Argonauts, standing back at his 15. Curtis had a wonderful season as a rookie kicker for the BC Lions.
Hey, guys.
Perfect in field goals tonight and ready to punt here. Charge was on. He gets it away. Hunden draws some flags. And that'll be substantial yardage on that one.
It will, because he caught it in the air, so he's going to get the 15-yard, no-yard penalty. So that'll move that football close to midfield for Damon Allen. If in fact that's the call, and it looks like it should be.
33-yard punt, 6 on the return, and then tack on the anticipated penalty here.
Well, now the longer the conversation goes on, the more it might be a little more involved than. But you can see how close the BC Lions are in that 5-yard, no yards area. Ball caught cleanly in the air. Kelly Lockbaum was too close as well.
So
was there a holding prior to that? No yards penalty.
No yards. BC number 6. Holding. Toronto number 6. Penalties are balanced. First down.
And there you go.
So were the penalty calls, both to number 6s, Glatt and Crum.
They were bluffing.
Sixes,
They were bluffing.
there.
Yeah, they were bluffing with a pair of 6s.
No full house.
Damon Allen needs a pair of 7s.
That's good. That math is improving so much, I can't believe it. And this 27 has not been dominant tonight. Not what the Argonauts were hoping for when they got Michael Jenkins back in the lineup. When you miss 4 games, I suppose that's part of the problem.
Part of it is the 4 games he missed, no question, John. He probably doesn't have that jump just yet. But the other one is the front 4 of the defensive line for the BC Lions. And they have been pretty dominant up front, led by the newcomer, Ray Jacobs. So, you know, across that board, Herman Smith, Jacobs, Cameron Legault made some plays. They're controlling that line of scrimmage, making it tough to run the football.
Damon Allen faces 2nd and 8. Got it away in a hurry. Mitchell is back. 3rd catch of the night. And critical for the Argonauts to get out to a better start in the second half as Mitchell gets them out near midfield and then limps back toward the huddle.
Yeah, and this is always the concern when you're coming off an injury, is you run in practice while you're rehabbing the injury, while you're trying to get back on the field. You run routes, you feel pretty good, and then you think, okay, it's ready to go. But one thing you can't test in practice is the contact, because no coach wants to lose a player in practice time. So you can't test out the contact until you get into the game, and really first contact is you see Mookie on the ground.
Injury timeout in Toronto with the Argonauts 16 behind the Lions. Daryl Mitchell appears to be feeling a little bit better sitting on the sidelines now. He is now 1 yard behind Daryl K. Mitchell for #1 all-time in receiving yards. For #2 all-time in receiving yards for the Argonauts.
And then he's got to catch his receiving coach for #1 in Paul Mazzotti, which he could do this year, but he wants to get back in that game tonight. That's that same ankle he hurt out in BC and kept him out of the lineup for a few games. Retape it. Looked like he was okay by the time he got to the bench.
Mike Palmer is in. And this is the best run of the night for Michael Jenkins. With some authority there as Jenkins bounces off a couple of Lions and picks up a first down.
When they played against the BC Lions out in BC Place, that's when not only did Daryl Mitchell go down right there on that ankle, it was the left ankle, but it was also the game they lost Alfred Jackson. But that was the injury that has kept Daryl Mitchell out of the lineup for 3 games.
Mitchell got back tonight, so did Jenkins. Jenkins has the first down, and that is Damon Allen for Hunden, and James Hunden should have made the catch.
So you saw how he rolled that left ankle, but there is one thing you're going to see again one more time is it's that ankle again, and as he's being tackled, see that ankle rolls underneath, and whenever you're injured and you're rehabbing, even though you feel good to play, you don't have the same strength in the ankle. It doesn't take as much to roll it again, but he looks like he's going to be okay, which is good news for the Toronto Argonauts.
Tony Miles to the near side on 2nd and 10, Toronto. Allen stands up and fires. He's got Miles. Miles has the first down. In the absence of Daryl Mitchell, Tony Miles has moved into the #1 receiving spot on this Argonaut team.
You know, Daryl Mitchell, though, the one thing about him, and I went to after the BC game and I asked him about the ankle, and he said, you know, I'm going to be fine. It's going to be a couple of games, no question. But he said, it's something about my joints. And he took his thumb and he bent it back almost the way around the back of his hand. He said, my fingers and my knees and my ankles are just unbelievably flexible. He's like Gumby. And he said, I can bend like that and come back, and I think he will be back.
Gain of 15 yards for Tony Miles. Michael Jenkins running with authority once more for 5 yards this time. This was the key the Argonauts felt to their running game this season and really to their overall offense, getting a solid running back like Michael Jenkins back in the lineup after he tested out the NFL waters. He came back, and injuries have been his problem, as you pointed out earlier.
Damon Allen right now, John, sits at the 27-yard line basically, and that would cut what he needs for yardage in half with a touchdown pass.
Allen has someone open in the end zone and decides to run himself, and he'll get the first down. Allen to the 20. There was an open receiver in the end zone, and Allen was in heavy traffic and picked his way through like a pedestrian at rush hour. Here's Claude Fagg on the sideline.
Guys, I just spoke to Mookie Mitchell a couple of seconds ago, and I asked him if it was the same spot that he injured in BC, and he said yes, but he said he's definitely raring to come back into the game, so you should see him on the next series, guys.
Damon Allen picks up 7 more, and the Argonauts are looking at first down at the BC 20 now. Shotgun. Jenkins has to change direction.
And now Jenkins starting to get a feel for it. It takes some time. You know, you've missed the live action for 2-3 weeks. It takes some time to get back into the flow of things. It looks like Michael Jenkins is starting to get there, and Daryl Mitchell had to sit out 3 plays. I believe that's 3 now.
Jenkins on this drive is feeling a little more at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the drive. Argonauts are down by 16. A touchdown here would go a long way toward making this a contest. There's the pass. Michael Palmer has a first down as he puts it inside the 5.
Hey,
This guy, they say, is a keeper. Michael Palmer, number 77.
Well, you know, and he's a keeper because of catches like that. You know, he's 170 pounds, and he's going into, like, the traffic zone. I mean, he's going into where an area that you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit this time from Bo Lewis, but coming in there, that might be Barron Simpson in there. And that's a second down play into traffic, and Michael Palmer makes the catch.
He is a rookie with one more year of eligibility at 12. From the 5, first and goal to go. And Jenkins is piled back. Ron Akame, one of the Lion tacklers.
And I just think the way that play developed, Damon Allen got up after it and thought, you know, I should have pulled the ball out of there and took it around the corner. And he always has the green light to do that. He went with the handoff straight up to Michael Jenkins right here. But if he pulls that ball out and goes around the corner, there's no one, because Ray Jacobs had cut down to stop Michael Jenkins.
James Hundon flanks to the far side. This is second and goal to go. Argos are at the 5. And no one home. Miles was the closest receiver to the pass from Damon Allen there. So 3rd and 5. What are the thoughts going through Mike Clemens' mind here? Take the 3, get a little bit closer. I mean, it's 19-3, 19-6.
Crowd doesn't like it,
down.
You know, but
it's 5 yards.
It's 5 yards. This is a pretty good defensive line you face, so that eliminates the running game. And there's still lots of football to be played, so there's no reason to take a big gamble at this point.
When you look it up in the coach's manual, it says take 3.
Take 3 here, absolutely.
Damon Allen a little disappointed, had the opportunity there, got to the 5-yard line, couldn't punch it home. Prefontaine does, so add 3 more to the total for the Toronto Argonauts. 19. Damon Allen, 19th year in the CFL. There's a milestone at his fingertips almost any night he plays.
Well, how about Damon Allen rushing, and because the two brothers, Marcus Allen, Damon Allen, were so competitive growing up, you would love to catch Marcus Allen in all-time rushing yards.
Marcus is retired and headed to the Hall of Fame this weekend. Don't put it past Damon to at least think about it for a little while. Frank Cutolo returning for the Lions. Special teams has to do it for the Argonauts, according to Coach Mike Clemens, and they allowed him to escape. Clifford Ivory finally running him out. Damon Allen, thoughts on Big Brother going to the Hall of Fame? He'll be there Sunday.
I'd probably remind him when I get down in Canton in the Hall of Fame when he's being inducted that how many yards I'm close to his rushing. So I need about 1,500 yards, so I don't know if I'll ever reach that, but it's obviously something to shoot for. But I'll let him know that if I do accomplish it, that you know, I become one of the 3 guys in the world that's ever done it.
He's talking about his 60,000 passing yards. 3 guys, the other 2, Warren Moon and Dan Marino. And they're on that tape. It's Marcus Allen, Hall of Fame. He'll be inducted on Sunday. Damon Allen will go down and be there for his brother, who are both very supportive of each other. And in fact, Marcus Allen has said that Damon is the better athlete in the family between the 2 of them. I talked about their competition, and Damon said to me before the game, I talked to him yesterday, and he goes, you know, he always wants to bring up that darn Heisman trophy he won. So I will joke with him when I get down there about the fact that I'm going to try and catch him in all-time rushing yards.
Lions had too many men in the huddle, so this is 1st and 20. They'll get half of it back right there. G. Simon making the catch and heading out of bounds near the 45, chased out by Ken Wheaton. Argos used up 6:55 on that drive, and it's not a question of using up the time, it's a question of getting the points. I mean, a touchdown would have made it a little more worthwhile. But 13 points, not insurmountable. A couple of touchdowns, and the Argonauts have the lead, but they have to come up big on defense and stop the Lions. Move the football at will in the first half with a rookie at quarterback. Spurgeon Wynn now. Oh, second down hit, and he got it away anyway. Took a huge hit. Claremont made the catch.
Well, they're lucky, the BC Lions, that wasn't intercepted, because when you get hit like that, the ball pops up. Michael O'Shea was right there, and so was Jason Claremont. So he just happened to be the right place at the right time to save what could have been a huge turnover and momentum changer in this football game. Pressure coming now from Kelvin Kenny and from Wayne Weathers, and they meet at Spurgeon Wynn. He goes down, and that ball popped right up in the air.
Wayne Weathers having a nice season for the Argonauts. He was the defensive player of week 4. Solid play right there as Bashir Livingston drops back near his 20.
They're setting up the return, you can tell.
Curtis Head. High. Livingston looking for a little seam. Spins out of trouble there. Look at this. There's a penalty marker down, but Livingston will take it all the way just in case.
Yeah, and it's going to come back, John.
That's too bad, because it was a wonderful move for Livingston in traffic.
And of all things, I believe the clip that's going to bring this back was on the kicker, Curtis Head. Kevin Scott, the defensive back.
Toronto 38. First down.
That's Kevin Scott, the defensive back. He was one-on-one on the kicker, Curtis Head, and brought him down.
That'll cost you 89 yards, Mr. Livingston. To quote our producer, John Hines, why didn't he just get in his way? He's the kicker.
Yeah, that was a penalty. A penalty had to be called because it was right at the point of attack. And Kevin Scott cost the Argos.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to argue his way out of this. No matter what debating class he was in college.
He's not going to win it, but what he's saying is that he thought that the kicker, Curtis Head, turned just as he was about to hit him. But
Stanford grad. Lyle Knight makes the catch and cuts back in. Should have the first down, or he's very, very close. One more look at the block on the kicker that cost the Argos an 89-yard score.
Well, what Kevin Head's got to understand is right there is the word head, and that's the last name of the kicker. And if you see that name tag, you cannot make contact. And watch how he steps up here, sees the name tag, 2 hands in the middle of the back, right at the point of attack. Livingston breaks outside of that block, and that's a play that has to be called.
Argos are a yard shy of the first down, 2nd and 9. Pitch to Jenkins. Good moves for Michael Jenkins inside. Needs one block, but he has a nice run.
There he goes.
Regardless of that, inside the 40.
And you can see him just starting to get in the groove. You can see it coming along. Each series, it appeared that Michael Jenkins started to feel a little more comfortable again, and now he's starting to really show a little of that old Michael Jenkins that we're used to seeing. And this is where he breaks tackles. He's so low to the ground and so powerful. That hit right there from Derek Lewis, he just fell off him, and you can see how he picks up and just keeps churning for those extra yards.
25-yard gain for Michael Jenkins. The Argo drive continues with Damon Allen set up at the 40.
Go get him, Joe. Go, Joe.
Jeff Johnson made the catch there, and the ball came loose. Lions are going after it, but the indication would be that the Argonauts retain possession with Johnson under the pile.
Yeah, he was hanging on tight. Caught it, tried to cut back, but he did get it, but it bounced. He got the Argo bounce. This is what he got. Bounced right back into his hands.
The Argos are due for one this week.
Well, you know, they've been down here a couple of times now and come away with field goals.
2nd down at the 45. Allen looks for the home run toss, and Mitchell was in the area. So was Morielli. Both receivers overthrown.
And so is Mark Washington. Mark Washington is the safety for the BC Lions, but he had slid over and was in a one-on-one coverage situation with Daryl Mitchell. That's not easy for anybody, and especially for Washington, who doesn't cover a whole lot. I mean, he can. There's no question. He's played halfback in his career, and he's played corner, but he can cover. He just doesn't do it every rep. That time he slid over and was in perfect position on Daryl Mitchell.
Prefontaine missed one earlier. This will be spotted at the 42. His longest on the season is that range. And he's got this one. 42-yarder for Prefontaine. The one he missed was not by much, and that was early in the game. It's a 10-pointer on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Michael Jenkins is back in the lineup and making his presence felt. We're waiting for Daryl Mitchell to come up with one more big play on a night of nights for the Argonauts. Trailing by 10 points at 19-9, 2:17 to go, third quarter.
Best way for that to happen is what's happening right now. It's for the quarterback and the receiver to be sitting there together and going over.
Better quarter for the Argonauts with 13 plays on offense compared to 4 by the Lions. Catolo, and that was a pretty good hit on Catolo by Kevin Ivan, who is leading the Argonauts in special teams tackles. There's a penalty marker down back at the 25.
Well, so far Mike Clemens has got just what he wanted. He's got his defense playing well in the second half. He asked for that, and he's also got a special team score. Now, that one was called back on the clip.
BC 51. First down.
And now he's going to have another opportunity at field position advantage here with the ball on the 20-yard line for the BC Lions. So far the team has listened to the halftime speech from the head coach.
Don't kid yourself, there's a lot of pressure on the little guy, isn't there? All things happening around this football franchise. He's put together a pretty good team coming in at 3-3. Kelvin Anderson, and he's run well for the Lions all evening long.
Yeah, he has been really the reason the Lions are up is the running of not only Kelvin Anderson, but remember G-Roy Simon had an 88-yard running play, and they're going with that tight end look because that's the versatility there of Jason Claremont. See, that's a receiver. That's a slot back that's lined up at the tight end and making a block on a defensive end. That's what versatility Claremont brings you.
Well, and size helps a lot too, right? 6'3".
And toughness.
236.
I mean, it's one thing to have the size and to be able to stand in there. It's another to be tough enough to take on some of these defensive linemen, especially like guys like Kelvin Kenny who are 280, 300 pounds. I mean, it's nice to have a guy that you can do that. I mean, Ray Elgard for the Saskatchewan Roughriders is one of those guys that, and I know Jason Claremont's been compared many times, both, of course, Ray playing in Regina and Jason from Regina.
I'm thinking that he might have watched Ray a time or two.
Oh, yeah.
At Taylor Field.
And he just says, whenever the comparisons are made, he just says,
yeah, that's cool.
I'm flattered.
Yeah, that's cool. First down of this quarter for the Lions. Spurgeon Wynn handing off to Kelvin Anderson.
A chance, you know, for CFL fans now to see two good running backs. You see Michael Jenkins start to get in the groove again, and Kelvin Anderson, he's been consistent all game long, chipping away close to 50 yards rushing now.
A couple for Kelvin. 2nd and 8 for the Lions. He gunned it, didn't he? Spurgeon Wynn.
Oh, yeah,
to the 45.
He did, John, but Orlando Steinauer timed it perfect. He read the eyes of the young quarterback, and he was there in a hurry, made contact, and knocked the ball out of there. That's a nice play from the safety spot.
We always like to pay particular attention to the safety spot.
Touchdowns hard to come by in this football game there, John. Just one of them, and that came way back in the first quarter. The first points of this ball game, G-Roy Simon made it 7-0. It remains a 10-point lead for the BC Lions, who really aren't interested in style points tonight on the road without their main man at quarterback.
If they got to win, they'll win ugly. And you know, David, how do you tell a team if a team's a good football team? And I asked that question, and the answer is take away your starting quarterback and then find out how well you play. This is a quarterback-driven league, and when you take a guy the quality of Dickinson and take him out of the mix, you're going to find out whether the rest of the football team are quality players. And the BC Lions right now are beating a very good football team in the Toronto Argonauts. However, you know, earlier in the week we talked about how all the off-field distractions might affect this football team. I said, it won't affect them at all. Well, you know what? I got to admit, I think I was wrong. These guys out there for the Toronto Argonauts clearly look a little distracted.
Yeah, they do. But BC Lions, give them credit. Now, go again back to the defense and the offense. And I'll come right back to the offense and talk about Steve Barato and what he's doing to give the young quarterback Spurgeon Wynn an opportunity to have success. We see him start the ball game with some simple, high-percentage passes. And then you see him do some different things with Jason Claremont. Now, this guy is very versatile. He's 6'2½", 230 pounds. Reminds me of a Jan Carinci when he was playing for the Lions. He could pass, he could go down the seam and stretch it, and he can also block. And he's using him as an extra blocker, Schultze.
Yep.
And this is giving Spurgeon that little extra time to throw the football down the field.
Smart way to run an offense, isn't it? And a smart running back is Michael Jenkins. And I really think he is key to this football team, not just because of his quality as a player, but also he's an identifiable player that you can market extensively. Nice little cutback. Look at the quick acceleration. He ends up making a collision, knocks that defensive back downfield. Now watch this one. Nice little vision, quick little cut, almost loses balance. No, he doesn't. Gains positive yards. On a team that needs identifiable players, you've got one right there, and they should make the most out of it.
Damon Allen, of course, became the CFL's all-time leading passer as a BC Lion, and it appears as though the Lions don't want him reaching that milestone against them tonight. We'll see what happens. Guys?
A quarter to go. Bashir Livingston drops back, and we'll watch Damon Allen closely now into the final quarter of this one tonight with the Argonauts bouncing back a little bit. They're within 10. Had 5 first downs compared to 1 for the Lions in the third quarter. So definitely the third quarter was the Argonauts' best. The evening has gone extremely well for Curtis Head, the BC kicker. Perfect in field goals. Nice punting average as well. Livingston had an opportunity moments ago. Gets a couple of blocks here, and this guy flies. He's got the kicker to beat. So long. A little tease there. I don't see any flags. Do you, partner?
I don't see one. Mike Clemens wanted better play out of his defense, and he said the special teams have got to score a touchdown. They just did. He's got an injured Argo. Chris Hardy is down, was part of the picket fence that was set up for Bashir Livingston, and he hit that fence full speed. 77 yards later, he's in the end zone. Watch the fence. First block right there. Second block coming up right there. Third block right on the top of your screen there. They come around the corner. One more. Here comes another.
Whoa, that's the beauty, isn't it?
And the picket fence is set up for Livingston, who is not touched. 77 yards later, touchdown Argos.
Slowed down at the very end there just to tease. Number 27, Matt McKnight on special teams, but a 77-yard touchdown makes this a 4-pointer pending the convert. Back-to-back. Livingston, 89 yards. That was called back for a block. This one goes down on the scoreboard. 77 yards.
What's up, Dad, Mom? Coming over from Sacktown. Cali representing.
One more look.
Not to kick it to me.
Baby. West Coast.
Well,
Bashir Livingston is certainly capable of doing it on his own, but this time he has a whole ton of help. Michael Fletcher with the block, Chris Hardy with the block, around the corner. Look at that. He is not touched. Now he has the speed to get to that fence and get outside the wall, and then a little fun as he goes into the end zone.
I don't know if that's such a good idea all the time. But
he had enough lead. He could get away with it.
So the Argonauts have bounced back and responded to whatever Clemens said to them in the dressing room, but what he told us after the first half. Special teams and defense have the Argonauts within 3.
John, there's a whole bunch of players on the special teams that really don't get a lot of recognition when Bashir Livingston is a teammate, because he's the guy who gets in the end zone. But look at this. Look at that block right there. I mean, there's the first one. That's perfect at the point of attack. Without that one, there's no shot. That's Palmer. There's Michael Fletcher. Another great one right there. Working hard on the special teams. Now he gets around the corner. Here comes Chris Hardy. He's got his man, and he's taking his man right him down. That's Derek Lewis going down. Another block right there. That's the guy who got the clipping call on the last one. Right there, that's the corner, Kevin Scott. And there's that last one right there by Kevin Iben, and he's around the corner and gone. A lot of those guys on the special teams don't get a lot of credit, and they work hard every single play. And that time, that was perfectly executed.
Your Canadian University graduates listed in those key blocks on
you better
that particular return, including Kevin Iben.
Marcelo Simmons is the special teams coach, former Toronto Argonaut, great alumni of this football team, and he had that one drawn up perfectly, and it was executed to perfection.
Bashir Livingston, 183 return yards tonight. Set up the Argos early and had an 89-yard touchdown called back. Frank Cotillo has had some huge returns for the BC Lions already this season, and that's not bad, out to about the 43-yard line with 14:06 to go. Lots remaining in this one.
And this, John, is where Spurgeon win. Remember, I talked earlier about how difficult it can be to be patient as a quarterback and just move the ball methodically down the field with those high percentage throws. It becomes that much more difficult now with the momentum on the opposite sideline.
It definitely has shifted to the hometown Argonauts, at least for now. We'll see what Spurgeon Wynn can do to quiet this audience here. Chris Brazel made the catch. He was wrapped up instantly by Mike O'Shea.
And the reason I say that is the tendency now is once you've seen the score go the opposite way and your lead has now been cut way down to just 3 points, tendency for that quarterback to say, well, let's just go get it back in one throw. Well, that time he threw it underneath, so we were stuck with the game plan so far. See if he can do it.
Second down and 5. Spurgeon Wynn gets some heat. Penalty flag is down. Catch is made. It'll be enough for a first down, depending on what the infraction was. As Claremont makes the catch, Ivory made the tackle on him.
Eric England was jumping up and down as if he had been held.
BC 55. Second down repeated.
When the flag goes down in that area, a good indication it's going to be holding.
Yeah, Ben Fairbrother playing tackle. He's at the top of your screen right here. 95 also up in that area. Now watch as they take off in the line of scrimmage. Fairbrother reaches for him, gets his hands around the number and pulls him down on the tackle. And if he doesn't do that, Eric England has a sack. So that had to be called, and it sends him in a hole now.
Second and 15. Low snap, loose ball. Lions get it back, but just.
I tell you what, it's a game of opportunities and sometimes missed opportunities. Jason Claremont was down the seam and open on the play. Alonda Steinauer had come up. Jason Claremont was open down the field, and
snap went awry is what happened.
Snap went down low. Spurgeon Wynn couldn't come up with a handle and couldn't get the football down the field to Jason Claremont.
Lost even more yardage, Glenn, and so Curtis Head is standing back at his 15 to kick this one away. Any kind of a return gives the Argonauts decent field position. James London is back. Bashir Livingston needs a bit of a rest, we presume.
Either way, this is good field position for the Toronto Argonauts.
Not good, great. That's midfield, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And you can see the fire in Damon Allen's eyes. Wendy's Friday Night Football. Damon Allen 27 yards away from 60,000. First down for the Argonauts. Just on the BC side of midfield. Allen chased down and got it away. Barely, as Simpson was on his tail.
Saved a 20-yard loss.
Penalty flag comes down after that moment down there. Let's bring in Claude down on the Argos sideline.
Well, John, needless to say, with the defense pitching a shutout in the second half and the offense having scored 13 unanswered points, the mood on the Argos sideline is tenfold of what it was in the first half. Everybody very positive, knowing they're right back in this game. And as a footnote, Chris Hardy, who made that great tackle to spring Brashear Livingston loose for the touchdown, he told me he pulled a hamstring in his left leg. He is done for the night.
Intentional grounding. Toronto number 9.
Well, he jumped on the hand grenade to do it on the big return to give his team a lift.
So Allen did not get that pass over the line of scrimmage, and that's the only way that they'll call intentional grounding these days. The rule changed a couple of years ago.
Well, yeah, but I thought there was a receiver close by. We're going to take one more look at it. And there's Damon Allen right there. Now let's see. He gets rid of this football right there. And I thought there was a receiver close. The ball can be behind the line of scrimmage if there's a receiver in the air.
17-yard penalty, so Allen stands up, tries to get away, and he's dropped at about the 42-yard line. One more look at the grounding penalty. Derek Lewis coming up to make the tackle there.
Mike Clements has been very upset with the officiating because they went over and they talked about it for a second, and the rule is simple. If you don't throw the ball across the line of scrimmage, you have to have a receiver in the vicinity of the football. You can't just throw it into an area. And I thought when this ball went out, there was a receiver close, and there was. That was Mike Morreale. That's close enough to be an intended receiver.
And he was being held there if you look a little closer, wasn't he? Somebody had a hold of the jersey, no?
Mike Clements certainly has an argument. If the ball goes across the line of scrimmage, there doesn't have to be a receiver anywhere. You could throw it into the second deck. It doesn't matter. But there was a receiver in that area, and that cost him 17 yards.
Cutolo was the lone man back, and he ran up late. He'll not get a good return here. Surrounded by Argos there. Ivan leading the way, and he usually does on special teams for Toronto. 1st and 10 BC when we return to Wendy's Friday Night Football. SportsCenter comes your way right after CFL football is done on a doubleheader. Wendy's Friday Night Football. The next edition, 2 a.m. Eastern Time. SportsCenter with Onright and O'Toole. Lions first down. Thelwell makes the catch, and he'll turn that into a first down. Mike O'Shea got over to make the tackle. You're still wondering about the call and thinking they might not have had it quite correct?
Well, it's a missed call. It was a missed call by the officials, and you know it cost Mike Clements' football team 17 yards on a penalty, and then they were forced to punt. So they have to now battle through that adversity, try and come back.
Lions with a first down at the 35 on the reception by Thelwell. Spurgeon win at the controls, goes to the same side and has another first down. Loose ball, and the Argonauts have come up with it. It's Fletcher. Mike Fletcher. Loose ball.
Kevin Scott came up from the corner position, John, and just put a nice smack right on Green on the sidelines. He came up and lowered his shoulder, put a nice contact into him, and that ball popped right out of there. He's going to get out of the backfield right here. Is open on the sideline, but watch the hit. Now, Kevin Scott is back deep in that zone. Here he comes, right there. Goes down low, ball pops out. Michael Fletcher comes up with it.
Kevin Scott making up for an earlier miscue, and Damon Allen had that one slip out of his fingers on first down. Again, Allen looking for 27 more yards to hit 60,000, and he's had a couple of opportunities here within range and hasn't been able to complete the pass that he needs.
Yeah, and that one just came right out of his hands when he tried to pump fake there. And remember, he is still battling a very sore hand in that throwing arm. He's played now 2 games with it, and he still can't grip the ball nowhere near 100%.
Argonauts looking at 2nd and 10 after the turnover. Allen shotgun. Can't find anyone open. Now he does. Here's Michael Jenkins, and he's to the 40. That'll be a first down.
That's just Damon Allen magic again. I mean, you know,
it wasn't a long and beautiful pass.
You know what it was? It was find a way to make it happen. Find a way to move the sticks. And sometimes, folks, it's not pretty. There's the 2 principles but it takes a long time for him to hook up. Damon Allen keeps composure, looks at 3 or 4 different ones, and finds Michael Jenkins sneaking out of the backfield. Make it happen. Find a way to move the sticks.
So he's 17 yards away. Randy Bulls for about 4, maybe 5 yards here.
John, he's 17 yards away, and when he passed Ron Lancaster in yards passed all time, he did it in dramatic style on a touchdown throw to Alfred Jackson. You just sort of get the feeling that it might happen when he reaches 60,000 in a similar fashion.
This is 2nd and 5 for Damon Allen and the Argos now within 3. Allen is over down to the 20-yard line. Darryl Mitchell makes the catch. It'll be another first down, and he's 3 yards shy of that magic milestone. 3 yards for 60,000 career. It's been a dramatic second half for the Argonauts. We listened to Mike Clemens tell us what he asked his team to do, and so far the Argonauts have done the little things and clawed back to within 3 points. 19-16. Lots of time for the Argos to take the lead, and lots of time for the Lions to come back.
And Damon Allen is 3 yards from adding his name to a very elite list, folks.
Moon and Marino are there with 60,000 plus. Michael Jenkins spins for maybe a yard. Well, not quite a yard, actually speaking. Passing situation on 2nd and long.
Warren Moon did it in 2 leagues. Canadian Football League with Edmonton, the National Football League, a variety of teams. Dan Marino just in the NFL.
Allen unofficially 3 yards shy of 60,000. That'll be it. Oh, no. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Michael Jenkins.
And he had sufficient yardage, too.
He had.
We'll have to wait until the next series for Allen to put his name on that list. But he once again, somehow, sidearm as he's fallen back away from the Brent Johnson pressure, puts it on the money to Michael Jenkins with sufficient yardage.
Definitely catchable. Ivan will put it down. Prefontaine looks to tie this up. All even at 19. Sluggish start, but the Argos are back.
And why not add to the drama with Damon Allen? Let's wait till the next time he gets.
Ray Jacobs in his 2nd game as a BC Lion is climbing up the ladder among Purolator's sack leaders. For every sack in tonight's game, Purolator will contribute the quarterback's weight in food to a local food bank, meaning the Toronto Food Bank. Purolator tackles hunger. And look at the Alouettes leading the way with 31. Saskatchewan sits 2nd, a long way back. 5 sacks for the Lions, and Ray Jacobs has 3. All even at 19. Frank Cotillo ready to return for the BC Lions. To about the 33. Ivan again, the special teams leader.
Well, 2 phases of the game for the Toronto Argonauts picked up in a big way in this second half. Special teams, one of them. We've seen the big return. We've seen some great coverage from these special teams, and Kevin Ivan's been one of those guys on both those teams, return and cover teams. And this defense for the Argos has picked it up in a big way. 57 total yards in the second half for the BC Lions.
Solid defense for the Argonauts. One of the hallmarks of this team so far this season. 6:36 to go. That's plenty of time for the Lions to retake the lead. G. Simon with that outstanding speed we saw earlier on a wonderful run after making a catch. And Simon is stopped to, or held to, a gain of about 7 yards. Oh, hang on. It's a little closer to 9 now as they spot the ball. BC with just 2 first downs in the second half. The Argonauts have responded and picked up 7. So it is a 2nd and 1 situation for the Lions. And that should be enough to move the chains.
Well, for the BC Lions, too, at some point, talked about them being patient with this offense, and they have been. But now that these drives continue to stall, you got to go. This is Simon. This is what they were doing with the patient little throws to the outside. Now Simon made it happen on his own a couple of times. Did a nice job away from the play there, and then this was his 88-yarder.
This was beautiful
on a simple play for a touchdown. Worked in the first half, but now the Argos are saying, Rommel, I read your book. And they've turned it up now and started to shut down that conservative style. And at some point now, the BC Lions may have to stretch things out just a little bit.
Lions will get credit for the first down after the measurement. 5:47 to go. Spurgeon Wynn in his first start in the Canadian Football League has acquitted himself extremely well. Kelvin Anderson couldn't hang on there.
This question Michael Fletcher had down on the sideline was that a lateral? Was that throw behind the line of scrimmage? As the Argos were the last to touch it as it went out of bounds, and the official was quick to wave it off and say incomplete.
You want another look?
Well, here you go. Take another. There, as you can see, he loses yardage there, but it looks like from that angle, that ball was in front of the line, which would make it a forward pass.
2nd and 10. Lions try to advance here. Spurgeon Wynn stands in. Little pitch there. Kelvin Anderson turns it into a first down. Just a little basketball toss.
Yeah, Michael Fletcher was stuck. Either way, he was wrong. If he decides to step up and take Spurgeon Wynn, he pitches it over his head. If he decides to stay on Kelvin Anderson, Spurgeon Wynn runs for the first down. Either way, he couldn't win.
Penalty flag is on the sideline, far side of the field. And Spurgeon Wynn made it happen there.
Yeah, he did. He did when he stepped out of the pocket originally. Because that's how he got.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Toronto, number 12.
Be an unnecessary roughness call
on Adrian Smith.
On Adrian Smith, and that will add the yardage to it. Spurgeon Wynn makes this happen by stepping out of the pocket.
And this was all on 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he steps up out of the pocket. You can see the pressure up front. Eric England, Wayne Weathers, there's Kelvin Kenny on the outside. You just see how he just avoids that one. Now he's put Michael Fletcher in a bind. He was covering Kelvin Anderson, but had to come up and try and stop Spurgeon Wynn from running, and they're saying that was the late hit on the sideline.
21-yard gain for Kelvin Anderson, plus 15. The Lions are set up at the Argonaut 30. Kelvin Anderson. He's to the 35.
Once again, a big down for the Toronto Argonauts because there's plenty of time, but they want to just hold the BC Lions to a field goal attempt. Of course, BC in field goal position already. So once again, another big down. And football games always come down to 3 or 4 big plays. This is one of them.
On the scoreboard clock, 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go. 2nd and 5, Lions at the Argonaut 25. Spurgeon Wynn won't find any running room this time. And the Argo defense holds and will force a field goal attempt.
Now, one of the strategies that you have in this situation when you're looking at 3rd and less than 5, if you're kicking the field goal, you can try and draw the defense offside, try and draw the field goal return team offside. Spurgeon Wynn looks a little banged up, worse for wear after that series, but you can shift down and try and draw them. And if you're the Toronto Argonauts right now, you've got to get not a yard off the ball, but a yard and a half off the ball. Field goal's no problem. You jump offside, you've got big problems.
perfect night for Curtis Head. He's made them all, and the Lions regain the lead. It's a 3-point lead at 22-19.
Getting sacked is the last thing I want in my game, but it can mean a sack of groceries for food banks.
Every time a CFL quarterback gets sacked, Purelator will donate his weight in food to a hometown food bank. Catch the Purelator Tackle Hunger Sack Tally during CFL games on TSN.
You have to like what Spurgeon Wynn has been able to accomplish, filling in for Dave Dickinson.
Well, he's executed the game plan. He's done what the coaching staff asked him to do, and that's play the high percentage game, drop the ball off, and use your running back as much as you possibly can. And it's been good enough to give this football team a 3-point lead. Now can they hold it is the question. And talked about Damon Allen chasing that record. He now has a chance to do it on what could be a winning drive for the Toronto Argonauts.
3:36 to go. There's a long evening still to come here at Skydome in Toronto. Lots can happen before this one winds up. Livingston took one back already, and here's another solid return.
He'll get more.
And the kicker, Curtis Head, is flagged there.
Well, they had to call that one after they called it on the opposite sideline when Adrian Smith hit Kelvin Anderson. So this time when Livingston was over there and Curtis Head hit him, they had to call it.
Livingston out of bounds.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 7, first down.
1-2, he's out of bounds, and there he just lowers his shoulder.
You may have to look back a little way before you find a kicker actually being flagged for unnecessary roughness.
Yeah. Well, Noel Prefontaine may have had a couple.
Well, no, I mean, I've seen Noel Prefontaine with some big tackles. I just haven't seen a flag thrown on any of them.
Well, it's a big one because it puts Damon Allen on the BC Lions half of the field, and he's 3 yards away from 60,000 in his career.
It would be an incredible milestone. And Allen looks to put it up here. Looking for 3 yards. He's got it. Makes the catch, and Damon Allen has a special place in football history.
Dan Marino, and add Damon Allen to the list. Only 3 quarterbacks in the world have thrown for 60,000 yards or better. Damon Allen is one of them.
Posing for photographers with his wife and the commissioner. And a future Allen to quarterback the team somewhere.
Across the 60,000-yard plateau, leading into the same weekend that his brother Marcus will be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, very special time in the household. 2 terrific athletes who have been outstanding citizens in their respective leagues as well as outstanding players.
There it is, folks. 60,000. 27 yards for Damon Allen. That is some kind of accomplishment.
1,334 yards behind Dan Marino. That's attainable. May take a little longer to catch Warren Moon.
Well, it has been a pleasure to watch number 9 play this game.
30-yard strike to Mike Morreale for that milestone. But more importantly, the Argonauts try to get to the end zone here. High snap, Allen recovers. And tiptoeing down the sidelines, can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Allen to Morreale. 60,000 plus.
Damon Allen celebrates a special milestone. He still wants to win this game. Well, down on the bottom of your screen, Nealon Green is getting ready to face the Stampeders. That's coming up after the game in Toronto.
A doubleheader tonight on Wendy's Friday Night Football. We've 2 minutes and 32 seconds before we wrap things up at Skydome and send you a little further west for the second half tonight. Damon Allen down by 3 with the Argonauts from the shotgun, 2nd and 13. Allen over the middle, looking for the first down, maybe the touchdown. Down to the 3-yard line. Huge play. Damon Allen, Wild Knights. 2:08 to go. The Argonauts have never held the lead. They battled back for a 19 all-time. The Lions responded to that with a field goal and now lead by 3.
And then their leader steps up and throws one more strike to get them close enough to put his football team up by 4. And throughout his career, 19 years, Damon Allen hasn't always had the biggest numbers in a game. You see Lyle Knight come all the way inside. Sometimes he wins with 150, sometimes he wins with 100. But Damon Allen is as competitive as they come.
Rogers AT&T Player of the Game. It's your chance to vote on the internet, CFL.ca, by text messaging. Go CFL. Your opportunity to choose who you would like to be the player of the game. And there are several choices, and there are players on both teams that you can really look at.
Yeah, well, 60,000 yards doesn't come around very often. And
well, you can't influence the voting like that.
No, I am.
Oh, you are?
I am.
You're pulling rank here.
I'm pulling rank, and number 9 added his name to a very elite list with that throw to Mike Morreale. Over 60,000 yards in his 19-year career. Damon Allen said to this point, his favorite pass was when he broke the record when he threw to Alfred Jackson for a touchdown. He said it wasn't even just the record, it was the way it happened because it was an important touchdown in a football game. You saw when he accepted the game ball on that throw to Mike Morreale from Commissioner Tom Wright, he looked almost a little bit uncomfortable because he's got a game to win.
It's unfinished business at this point. I mean, the Morreale catch only gets you a first down and only gets you inside the 20.
And of course that's planned, and it has to be done because that's a milestone that this doesn't happen very often. So without question, you stop the game and make that presentation to Damon Allen. But that's the competitor that Damon Allen has been his entire career.
And when he passed Lancaster, the game was stopped, and that was part of the plan. Lancaster was there in the stadium. But the touchdown had been accomplished at that point on that play.
The first one to congratulate him, as a matter of fact, typical Damon Allen, rolling to his left, throwing a strike to Alfred Jackson, the corner of the end zone. And that's the one that put him over. And Ron Lancaster, the first to congratulate Damon Allen, became the all-time leading passer in CFL history. And quarterback who has never been an All-Canadian.
He has been a Grey Cup MVP on occasion, and
twice.
Perhaps that, yes, absolutely twice, and perhaps that is more important than All-Canadian status. I mean, when you win the Grey Cup and you are the outstanding player in it, well, the All-Canadian status.
Well, it's one thing. It's one thing too, Johnny. In a lot of his years in teams that he's played for, he's not been the favorite player on the roster either. But he has battled through a ton of adversity. He's battled through criticism. And he's simply been one of the best.
Randy Bowles, and there's a stuffing going on there.
And me,
get to him.
And Damon Allen just may have to throw it across that goal line one more time to win this football game. Over 60,000 passing, and don't forget, he's racked up a few rushing yards in his career as well.
66 yards for Allen in the first half, 124 here in the second. Argos looking at 2nd and goal to go from here. Allen stops. It opens up. Can he turn the corner himself? Didn't quite get away with it.
Well,
Baron Simpson foiled his attempt to run to the end zone.
Depends, John, on when they mark it. Now they're going to mark it about the 3-yard line. That'll force Mike Clemens to go ahead and tie this game with 1:42 left. If Damon Allen could somehow get up there to the 1, but he couldn't. Okami was right there pushing him out of bounds along with Baron Simpson.
Tight roping along the sidelines, and Mike Clemens really doesn't have a choice here. He has to go for 3 to tie it with 1:41 to go. Noel Prefontaine missed one early.
Well, but what he's done too, and what the Argos have done, is they've gone down there and tied this game, but left enough ticks on that clock for Spurgeon Wynn and the BC Lions.
1:37 remaining. 5 field goals for Prefontaine, 5 field goals for Curtis Head. And in spite of the fact that we've seen a lot of kicking tonight, we've seen a pretty good ball game. It's been intense, it's been tight, and it's as close as it could possibly be with 1.5 minutes to go.
Here's your game story so far, and let's start out by putting Damon Allen at the top of the list. Over 60,000 yards, putting his name with Dan Marino and Warren Moon as only 3 quarterbacks to do that in professional football history.
And interesting when you look at a rookie quarterback coming into this game against Damon Allen, the evening that Spurgeon Wynn has had. The numbers aren't outstanding, but he has controlled the game, and he hasn't made any mistakes, or any glaring mistakes, I should say.
Livingston with a nice punt return for a touchdown, and Curtis Head has chipped away with field goals, and we...
A lot of time to go. The game story brought to you by Sport Check, Canada's largest sporting goods retailer. Up to special teams here for the Argonauts with 1:31 to go. You've got Curtis Head, who's been perfect tonight.
Well, and you've got Spurgeon Wynn, who so far tonight has been very disciplined with the game plan and those high percentage passes. But as this time now ticks away, he's got 1:31, and he's got to move this football about 40-50 yards to get in field goal range. Dave Dickinson, a master at it, but he can't help it from where he's standing.
First down for the Lions, 1:31 on the clock. It's all even at 22. Ryan Thelwell makes the catch, and he stopped short of a first down. Orlando Steinauer got over to make the tackle. Short of the first down, but definitely positive yardage, and a gain of 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Well, I should correct myself. He's about 35 yards away from field goal attempt from Curtis Head.
Head's longest on the season, 54 yards, and he's been good on 83%. He is a rookie, and he's been perfect tonight. Spurgeon Wynn, a rookie. And that's a heck of a catch by Cutolo right in front of us here, Frank Cutolo. And that might be enough to keep the Lions within range, and 1:02 to go.
Well, they could try it now anyway. If they get stopped right here, they could try it. Frank Cutolo keeps working on the sideline. Wynn shows some composure here. He's getting pressured. Cutolo had run a quick out pattern, but he wasn't open initially, so he kept working, turned all the way back around and pulled that one in. What a big catch for Cutolo.
Nice hands on a 22-yard gain for Frank Cutolo, another BC Lion rookie. Spurgeon Wynn on first down, Lions. To his right, won't get that one. Oh, huge hit.
Michael Fletcher just exploded on him. Turned him back.
54 seconds remaining.
Spurgeon Wynn is a 230-pound quarterback.
Oh. Lions and the Argos went to overtime earlier this year. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, right now it would be a 52-yarder if they don't advance this football any further.
44 seconds to go. 2nd and about 13. Spurgeon Wynn will get a little bit back. A little dangerous in there as Marvin Thomas went for the football, and Wynn was able to hang on, but he gets it over in front of the uprights with 35 seconds remaining.
And now you are looking at about a 47, 48-yarder.
with the game on the line.
Curtis Head longest, 54. He hit a 47-yarder to beat Montreal, so he's felt this pressure already this season.
That was the interesting night where the penalty happened.
Yeah, on the last play, he got another chance
and he got
at
the
it.
second crack at it.
A little closer.
So this would not be his longest of the season.
If he misses, the Argos have to take it out. They have Daryl Mitchell back in the end zone.
35 seconds on the clock. Even on the scoreboard at 22. Here's a rookie kicker. Curtis Head. Has he got enough leg on this one? He's wide. And the Argos will get a chance here with 29 seconds to go. It's Daryl Mitchell out about the 7-yard line.
John Michael Fletcher made that play. He made two huge plays on the defense right down on his own 40-yard line. They hit on Spurgeon Wynn, and then he came off the edge on that field goal. And I think he made Curtis Head change his approach.
First miss of the night for Curtis Head. Perfect until right then. And don't take anything away from this kid. He's had a terrific rookie season in the CFL.
Well, and they may need him again.
And he may get another opportunity to win or tie this game.
Because where the Argos are right now, they've got to be thinking moving into the extra period, moving into overtime.
23 seconds to go. There's time for a little something before that, but you're saying you don't want to be gambling too much in this area of the football field. You're back at the 7-yard line. I mean, you don't want to put it up in the air.
You can't punt it from down there and give him another chance. You want to try and get out of this game and get into overtime.
Don't hand the ball off.
Now, Clemens didn't like the running play.
Well, I think Mike Clemens is worried because he wants his offense, thinks it needs one first down. And he doesn't want to get too conservative by just running the ball if they need that one first down.
So it's not about putting it up with 18 seconds on the clock now. It was just about being a little too conservative and thinking that.
Yeah, that would have looked like from when Clemens was yelling, don't get too conservative, don't run the ball just yet. And now they're going to try and see if they can run the rest out.
Down to 14 seconds.
Well, the reason they can do that now is because that's the BC Lions can no longer stop the clock. Once they blow it in now, these 14 seconds will tick off. The Toronto Argonauts now have third down, so now they can move it to overtime.
It's been a very interesting game.
Well, it really
has. I'm ready for a little OT.
Absolutely.
And that is regulation. Overtime to count. The Argonauts have battled back for a 22-22 tie. For the second time in 2003, the Argonauts and the Lions will settle something in overtime.
Here are the rules. Teams play a maximum of 2 mini games. They have a coin toss to determine who gets to call whether they want the ball first or not.
Each team scrimmaging from the opponent's 35 to attempt to score. There's no win factor in this stadium here, obviously. The team scoring the most points in the mini games earns 2 points in the standings.
Yeah, and this is the rule change as of this year. You don't get a single point for the tie after regulation. So it's all or nothing in overtime. You get a crack at the 35. The BC Lions will start with the football.
Damon Allen, a special place in CFL history, in football history, and he's Glenn's Gladiator tonight.
Well, without a doubt. It took him all 4 quarters. This throw to Mike Morielli puts him in elite group. Dan Marino, Warren Moon, and now Damon Allen. The only 3 quarterbacks in football history to throw for over 60,000 yards. And it's a pleasure to watch Damon Allen play here in the Gladiator tonight, win or lose.
He turned 15 years north of the 49. Well, except for that little blip when he went back to Memphis. Antonius Bonner making the tackle.
The advantage that Toronto has right now, they're playing defense first, is that in this overtime format, if you play defense first, you know what you have to match when you come out offensively. So depending on what BC can generate here, if it's a field goal, Damon Allen knows what his mindset is when he comes on the field for his turn.
Has to be thinking 6 for the win.
Yeah, and if they score a major, he's basically playing 3-down football to match.
He has to match that for the tie to force the second overtime. Meanwhile, the Lions are looking at second and a couple to go here. And Lyle Green should have the first down. It'll be interesting to see the spot.
Now, there is a school of thought in this overtime that says, and would suggest that taking the ball first and scoring first puts the pressure then on the opposition team. But I truly believe at this level, pressure is what you put on yourself. And I think strategically, you want to play defense first and see what the other team generates.
Two schools of thought, though, really, when you think about it.
It is.
Depending on your football team in a lot of cases, too, and how well it has played. Not quite a first down. And so it was third down and less than a yard to go. Green, I thought, had it, but they say no, and it will be a first down here on third down. Whoa.
They finally sorted it out, and they gave him the first down. But
you hand it back.
Anxious moments for Wally Buono because they don't get it there, and that's it. Their turn is over.
That's right, and you hand it back to the Argonauts, and a field goal wins the ball game.
Well, a single can win it, too.
A single can win it, too.
Absolutely. As it stands, they get another set of downs, another chance. Put some points in this first mini game of overtime.
By inches. Spurgeon Wynn stands up. Pass is dropped. G. Roy Simon. Mike O'Shea was breathing down his shirt.
And this is really what this game is about, and it has been a very interesting game from start to finish. Some very exciting plays. Damon Allen reaching his milestone. A rookie quarterback playing very well with the BC Lions against the veteran at 60,000 yards. We've seen a lot of everything tonight, and that's what CFL football is all about.
Spurgeon Wynn is still trying to collect his first 300 yards in the CFL. No catch. Clifford Ivory closed quickly.
Well, we've seen some hits over this weekend. Clifford Ivory right there, and you can see he can't barely move that left hand. I think he's got a bit of a burner in that left side. He came in there so hard.
Calvin Anderson couldn't hang on. Here's why.
There has been some controlled violence in the last 24 hours in football. And stay tuned, folks. We got another game for you after this week more.
Curtis had missed his last opportunity. He was perfect until that. And he's got this one. So the Argonauts have to match a field goal. Six field goals on this evening, and that ties Lawrence Tynes of Ottawa for the best night. But of course, you're looking at Curtis Head, who's had a little extra time to get even.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL. Wendy's, it's better here. By Molson Canadian, why not seize the day? And by Rogers AT&T Wireless. Imagine getting more from your phone.
Here are the Argonauts trying to match the field goal of the BC Lions, and Michael Jenkins is stopped in his tracks there.
Basically, if you don't get one first down or you don't advance the football even a yard, you're looking at a 42-yard field goal attempt for Noel Prefontaine, which would match his longest on the year coming into this game.
Cameron Legault with the tackle there. He's had a nice night.
That puts a lot of pressure on your field goal kicker, especially when there's already 3 on the board in the first set. One thing if you go first, it's another if you've got to try and match.
And that's what Damon Allen tries to do here. Darryl Mitchell comes up shy of the first down, so it is a matching situation. Mark Washington impeded his progress there. So now Prefontaine missed one earlier tonight, missed his first crack at it. However, he's been solid since. So it's a chance to match, but it lets the Lions back into the game.
And John, everybody during the practice week wants to be the kicker. No one wants to be the kicker right now.
Noel Prefontaine for the tie and sending this into an extra shootout. Prefontaine left foot, no problem. Even again at 25, and he has 6 tonight.
It's got to be Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Yeah,
let's overtime, and let's switch hands and let's do it again.
Let's go one more round.
Load them up, boys. Now what happens here in the second mini game? They'll switch hands and go down to the opposite side of the field, and they'll do it all over again.
We've watched 12 field goals tonight, and that doesn't really sound horribly exciting, but think of the big plays we've seen on returns. And think of the drama surrounding Damon Allen's evening going over 60,000 yards. And think about the Argos coming back. This Toronto football team wasn't even close to the Lions in the first half.
Absolutely. And remember, Bashir Livingston had 2 returns for touchdowns. One of them called back.
Looking back to the first meeting between these two teams, and that was BC's first win of the year. The Lions dominated that game in the early going.
Look at what Damon Allen did with 413 yards and 2 touchdowns passing in a game he didn't win.
On the 4th of July, yes. It was a 3-pointer there.
This time the Argos start first in the mini game with the football. BC will have to try and match whatever they can produce.
That's when the BC Lions started this winning streak. Here's Damon Allen. First crack at it. He'll run. Well, he takes the heat off his kicker, doesn't he?
I mentioned it earlier, John, and when he was closing in on that milestone, mention it again, but when the game has been on the line in his 19 years playing football in this league, he has often taken the game on his shoulders and tried to carry his team on his shoulders, and he's trying to do it one more time. Vintage Damon Allen taking off and running.
For 15 yards there, the Argonauts set up at the 20 now. First down from there. 6 carries, 55 yards for Allen this evening. He puts it up, and it appeared to be batted down or tipped at the line. Tony Miles was the intended receiver. So now it's back to the drawing board to think about what might work next.
Well, Deshaun Austin is the guy who got his hands on it. He jumped up coming off the edge. Damon Allen, that just caused the ball to nosedive a little bit on Tony Miles. He couldn't get underneath it.
So it'll be second down, 10 necessary for a first down, and the Argonauts will have to settle for 3 here and force the Lions to match that. Allen takes off again himself, and penalty markers go down as Allen is hammered into the camera cart down there.
Ron Okami threw him into the cart, and he'll get a penalty, and that'll move the football way ahead, and Damon Allen is not getting up.
Count 10.
Well, absolutely unnecessary. Allen was heading out of bounds. There's movement down there.
Ron Okami was in pursuit. Damon Allen's going to take off this way, and let's just take a look as he goes towards that sideline. If Ron Okami could have pulled up, he pushes him with Allen in bounds.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the sideline. I mean, the flags are necessary, are they not?
Well, the way it turned out, you would think so. Take one more look at it. The reason being is that he looks like he's just going straight out of bounds, trying to slow himself down. Obviously hard. You can't expect Ron Okami to read his mind by any means, but he was close enough to the sideline that he could have pulled up.
And you have to believe that Okami would see the cart where it was, and not unlike a check in hockey from behind with the cart there.
And he's right there talking to Damon Allen. You know, and throughout his career, we have not seen Damon Allen on the field very often in his 19 years like this. He's one of those guys that just seems to be able to slip a hit and fully extended, trying to slow himself down as he got to that television cart. And
well, the fans here right down near that camera cart.
Now they're obviously, they want to take every precaution they can and make sure. He went in on a difficult angle. Billy Rochelle there is the trainer for the BC Lions, trying to help out. Of course, the Argo training staff right there, and they're going to make sure they take every precaution.
He talked about 19 years of watching Damon Allen in Canadian football, and one thing he has been able to do, not avoid all injury, but avoid serious injury through,
He has.
through that tenure. There's,
you know, and Ron Okami, you could tell the way he's shaking his head out there, and those BC Lions, they're obviously concerned for Damon Allen.
Well, teammates
most of them
not long ago.
Teammates a year ago for most of them, and Okami was. No one on the field feels worse right now than Ron Okami. I can guarantee you that. It is a violent game, and certainly there was no intention to injure. He was trying to push Damon out of bounds. Fortunately, just ran out of room there. And I saw him move his arms up towards the training staff at the bottom of that pile. That's a good sign. You can see him moving underneath there. One more look at it. It was just the way he was extended as he went out of bounds. Okami pushes him. He's inbounds now, and to see how he's extended and he falls forward into that cart.
And his wife and family looking on, having been here for the presentation as Damon Allen went over 60,000 yards in passing earlier this evening, and now in overtime.
Well, you know,
second sequence of overtime happening here. Score tied at 25.
As violent as a game that this is, you know, that's the first concern now. It doesn't matter which player goes down, or it doesn't matter whether you're the opponent or the teammate.
Or in reality, the eventual outcome of the game during the regular season.
That's right. The concern is for the person first. And Mike Clements went over to talk to Damon Allen's wife, and obviously some anxious moments for everybody.
Well, this sounds encouraging right now, doesn't it?
Well, he's sitting up now, and that's a good sign.
I can't see very much in there, but it does.
I saw him sitting up.
So it will fall to one of these two gentlemen, Marcus Brady or Michael Bishop.
It's moving, and that's a real good sign right there, folks. He's up, moving around.
He may not know where he is at this particular moment, but he is talking, so
those television carts are well padded in case this happens. And I only hope there was enough pads that he's not seriously hurt, but it looks good right now. But he's moving around. And that's a great sign.
David Allen will be on the sideline for the rest of this milestone evening in his career.
And that's a relief, obviously, for his wife. And you know, Damon Allen, through all this, waves off the golf cart. He gets up after that, and he says, "It's okay. I'll walk in my own steam to the sideline."
I thought we saw penalty markers down there, did we not? Or was that too long ago to remember?
Well, there was initially, and they haven't marked off any penalty.
Okay, but there were penalty markers down. So
penalty
they have
markers.
Waived the penalty.
They've waved them off.
So that means the Argonauts have one chance to take the lead on a field goal. Prefontaine. And it's 28-25 with the Lions having their opportunity to tie or to win. Already underway at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Let's get you caught up on what's happening there.
John at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Here are the only points so far early in the first quarter. Mark McLaughlin from 45 yards away. It's good, and the Calgary Stampeders with a quick 3-0 lead on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Will get you there as soon as this one's over in Toronto.
David Allen done for the night no matter what happens. Overtime is over for the Toronto Argonauts offensively. Can the defense come up with one more huge stand here?
And the Warrior just took off his armor.
Spurgeon Wynn takes out a little extension play on the option.
Real late flag way back in the Argos secondary, and there wasn't any receivers down there.
Simon got the ball. Ivory made the tackle.
Something the back judge noticed, and this could be huge and a real big call if it goes against the BC Lions and puts them out of field goal range.
Holding BC number 3.
Ryan Thelwell.
Wow. That 10-yard penalty. Now you're out of field goal range, and the defense has a chance now to lock down the BC offense and win this game.
It is 1st and 20. The Argonauts have the lead in overtime. The Lions have to match that for the tie or get to the end zone for the victory. And now the Lions look at 1st and 20. Spurgeon Wynn has a wide open target. It's Thelwell. He makes the catch far side and comes up with a first down as a result.
Well, Thelwell made up for it, didn't he? Thelwell got the holding call, put his team out of field goal range, but made a nice catch on that sideline.
He brought them right back in.
To put them right back in field goal range. He's the outside receiver. 4 of them to the right side of the formation. Watch him just sit down on that sideline in the zone coverage, present a target, and then get out of bounds. He's back in field goal range. Makes amends.
Well, not quite a first down where they've actually spotted the ball. It is 2nd down and inches. Now it's a first down.
And now that puts hand back in the hands of the BC Lions. new set of downs and a chance to go ahead and continue this drive. I mean, it's funny how the advantage is switched in this game and momentum is switched in this game, and even in overtime it's back and forth. Advantage went to the defense with Wally Buono's team out of range, field goal range. Ryan Thelwell makes a catch. All of a sudden they have a new set of downs and a chance to go in for the major and win it themselves.
At the Argo bench, here's Claude Fay.
Well, guys, from what we can see here, when Damon Allen made it back to the bench, they were looking at his lower back, and it looks like he's favoring his left side. They put some ice on it and wrapped it. But as you guys mentioned, he's done for the night.
And the BC Lions are not looking for the touchdown that would win this game. A field goal only ties it. It's the second overtime session. And the Argonauts have a 3-point advantage now as the Lions drive toward chip shot range for their kicker, Curtis Head.
I tell you what, that's great news for Damon Allen, and just everything that's happened tonight, that milestone and a back injury, and it looks like he'll be okay. Talking to his old buddy Alfred Jackson about exactly what happened. Could have been a lot worse.
Second down and 6.
Well, they had him, and Wally Buono feels at one point is all he's going to go for here, because I'm talking about 1 point in the standings. He sends the field goal team on. If he wants to gamble and go for the win on third down, 2 points. But remember, you don't get a point for tying in regulation. It's all or nothing.
This is for the tie here and now. The Argos have 28 on the board. The Lions 25.
It's a good call by Wally Buono. You're on the road against a good football team. A point is a win for you.
And it's third and a bunch. Curtis Head. He missed it. He has missed it. Oh, my gosh, after a night like that. How about that for Damon Allen's Argos? They started slowly, and they win it on a missed field goal. A short one by comparison to what Curtis Head was making all evening long. That was for sole possession of top spot in the West, and actually the Lions will jump ahead pending the outcome of tomorrow night's game in Hamilton. And how about that for an evening of wonderful drama?
Congratulations to some kind of gladiator. 60,000 yards, and he gets it on a night the Argos win in overtime.
I think they'll be taking the family out to Wendy's to celebrate tonight, don't you?
Absolutely.
Oh, an amazing night at Skydome. Good to see Damon Allen up and walking off the field. Now let's take you out to Calgary for that game. Here is Rod Black and Leif Pettersson. Guys, go ahead.
Due to CFL blackout regulations, the football game scheduled at this time cannot be seen live in your area.